Okay, Shalom Israel. Hope everybody is doing well today. Before we get started, I just want to say the water to everybody who's been tuning in and supporting. The water for the consistency, the water for the support, the water for just supporting the channel and supporting our work. Thank you very much. We don't do that a lot. We don't say thank you enough. We will continue to start working on that. But just thank you for the time you guys commit to us. And we'll continue to sit back here and provide as much study and as much effort to provide a clearer picture of this message that we teach every day. Shout out also Kawakab and his congregation in Guatemala and the brothers and sisters he teaches throughout the United States and abroad. Also shout out SOW family in Virginia, Rochester, New York, and Houston. I hope y'all brothers and sisters are doing well today. Just a quick reminder, on Sunday we have a gathering. And we'll see you guys at the school. 6 p.m. is the time. We're going to start. Also, what else we got? Let's set our prayers up and give the Most High his just due. We'll go from there and get class started. Imagine just us. Can you get that started in a second? Yes, sir. Barak Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Barak Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Hawa. Nothing
Award.
Zayawam.
The water. Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us light this day. Thank you. So be it.
Okay. Barak Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Barak Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Hawa. Nothing
The water. Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us sweet savor. Thank you. So be it.
Just throw one on there, man. Just to get the ball rolling. That's right. Let's get started. Imagine we'll point out Yerushalayim.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Barak Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Barak Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Hawa. Nothing Shabbat. Shalom. The water.
Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the Sabbath and peace. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121. Anasha.
Ayanyamya.
Ahoya. Ma'aya. Yabu'a. Isaiah. Yabu'a. Ma. Yahweh. Sha'aisha. Shemayim. Wa'aratiza. La'a. Yanathan. Lamawat. I'm sorry, Lamawat. Regalia. Yala'a. Nawam. Shashamoyah. Ana. Yala'a. Nawam. Wala'a. Yishan. Shashawamar. Yasharala. Yahweh. Shemaya. Yahweh. Tazalia. Ayo. Yanyamya. Yad. Hashemash. Yala'a. Hakaya. Bayawam. Wala'a. Halabana. Halayara. Shemaya. Makor. Wad. Yashimar. Napasha. Yahweh. Yashimar. Hawarakya. Wabu'aya. Ma'aitha. Wa'ai. I will love. Amen.
Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from which cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasha'Allah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. Amen.
Israelite Credo. Shema Yasharala. Yahweh. Alahayim Nawa. Yahweh. Echad. Shema Yasharala. Yahweh. Alahayim Nawa. Yahweh. Echad. Shema Yasharala. Yahweh. Alahayim Nawa. Yahweh. Echad.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord.
Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Chaya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Wafka, Taba'ah, Watazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Washamaya, Watananawa, Lacham, Ko, Yawam, Wasalachanawa, Khawatinawa, Tasalachanawa, Khawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabianawa, Banasawan, Abo, Hawashanawa, Mayed, Right, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ara,
Lord's Prayer in English. Matthew chapter 6 verse 9. After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. 10 Commandments. La'ayahaya, Laka, Alahaya, Akhayim, Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Number 2. La'a, Ta'ayna, Laka, Basal, Wala'a, Ta'aybada.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3. La'a, Falaq, Sham, Yahweh, Batshawa.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar, Hayawam, Hashabat, Laquadashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5. Kabat, Abaka, Ya'amaka.
Honor thy mother and thy father.
Number 6. La'a, Farataza.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7. La'a, Tana'a.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8. La'a, Bagana.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9. La'a, Ta'ana, Shakur.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10. La'a, Tachamad, Ashira, La Ra'aita.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
Okay. Hashem Yahshai,
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law.
Israel, Yeshavyam.
Israel seated.
Okay. As we all know, we missed last Sabbath. So we're going to try to catch back up with where we left off 2 or 3 weeks before. Okay? Now, we've tried to kind of continue in this story, but there's been a lot of information on this topic that hasn't allowed us to move on from this same point. I'm going to ask, the brothers, let's kind of get through the points we've kind of gone over the last few weeks so we can get on to the rest of the topic. But I want to briefly go over what we've been going over the last few weeks as a recap, as a refresher, because sometimes this information, it's dense, it's a lot of information and responsibility. So let's go over briefly what we've been going over, then continue the topic in 1 Maccabees chapter 7. Where we're at now is 1 Maccabees chapter 6. I think it's verse 55. We're going to start there, but at that time period in the Josephus. So we're going to hit the Josephus first. Josephus, book 12, chapter 9, paragraph 5. We're going to focus on that first, then get into 1 Maccabees 6:55, finish that chapter off, and then continue in 1 Maccabees chapter 7 to continue on this saga of what Judas and his men were endeavoring and going through to fight for the salvation and the protection of the nation. So, Josephus, book 12, Book 12, chapter 9, paragraph 5. Let's get you started. Kariah.
Kariah, Shasha Shabbatah, Banashah, Banashah,
Koraya, Shasmata, Barashar, Bayashar, Amaju. Yahweh Hashem Yashabakata.
Yahweh Hashem Yasharakatam.
One more time.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 12, Chapter 9, Paragraph 5, page 331.
Yep.
But Judas, seeing the strength of the enemy, retired to Jerusalem.
This was when Antiochus Jupiter and his regent Lysias finally made that decision to go full-fledged into attacking Israel. And starting at Beth, it was the Battle of Beth Zachariah, if I'm not mistaken. And this is when, I'm trying to make sure let's get the right map. Yes, it's Beth Horon is where this battle started. So what ends up happening is Antiochus Jupiter leads a portion of men to surround Beth Horon, but the major battle started in Beth Zachariah, which is slightly above in that red, where you see Judea, Beth Zachariah, Beth Zua, which is really Beth Horon. Either way, the numbers were enormous. There were 30 some odd plus elephants. They were surrounded. It was 100,000 plus troops, horsemen, the whole nine. And we only had, at the very most, 8,000 men to fight. At this time, Judas said, we got to get the hell out of here. Get to Jerusalem. Take a step back. Get in our protection of our walls. And sit out this siege. We had mentioned for multiple weeks, this is the first time Judas and his men took a loss. And the first, 3 weeks ago, we went into how psychologically, I think it's 4 weeks ago, how psychologically that would affect us, Israelites, when you're doing things for the right reasons and for the right cause, and you take that first loss. And how that affects your faith, your outlook towards the good that you're doing, and the intention, and also the ego and pride that comes from doing things the right way. Because there's this thought that if I do things the right way, I'm invincible. There's this ego that makes you think that if you're on point, then you're not supposed to lose. You're not supposed to fall. You're not supposed to sit back here and take a blow.
We don't lose. We win. That's what we do.
There's that king, that whack king talk out.
Yeah.
I'm him.
Timothy.
Himothus.
Yeah.
We sit back here and have these crazy delusions because I'm following the law that I'm not supposed to take an L. So this hit Judas and his men. They got out of Beth Zachariah and they fled to Jerusalem, closed the gates, setting up for a siege. Okay, let's continue. And in the reading.
Josephus, Book 12, Chapter 9, Paragraph 5. But Judas, seeing the strength of the enemy, retired to Jerusalem and prepared to endure a siege. As for Antiochus, he sent part of his army to Bethsura to besiege it.
Like I mentioned, Bethsura was our Israelite stronghold in the south. And it was important to have a stronghold in the south because right below us, where Hebron is in the blue, that was the stronghold city of Edom. So Edom kept sitting back here and giving us problems for the south. So having a fortified line right at the southern tip of our land was absolutely necessary. So what Antiochus Jupiter did is, I'm going to sit back and besiege Bethsura because it's more of an assured way. I can break them before we can break and fortify the fortified Jerusalem. So they surrounded Bethsura, at least a portion of the troops, while the other ones headed to Jerusalem to chase Judas. Read on.
Right. It says, as for Antiochus, he sent part of his army to Bethsura to besiege it, and with the rest of his army, he came against Jerusalem. But the inhabitants of Bethsura were terrified at his strength, and seeing that their provisions grew scarce.
So the numbers were large, and they were low on supplies. They knew they couldn't endure a long siege. And as we mentioned a few weeks ago, we were in the 7th year. We were in our sabbatical year, which means that in our sabbatical year, we're low on supplies. Because you're supposed to let the land rest for a year. So 6 years you work the land. The Most High was going to give us 8 years or 7 years worth of supplies and food in that harvest, in that last 6-year harvest, but we weren't supposed to touch the ground. so our supplies were very low. So knowing that supplies were low, we weren't able to get our harvest. We're under a siege situation. The inhabitants of Beth Shura said, listen, we're going to have to get out of here and just probably forfeit our position because we're not going to last. And the longer you hold a siege and you inconvenience the people that are trying to siege you, the worst chance you're going to get treated harshly. You're going to get treated harshly because they got to wait out and burn supplies to wait you out. So let's continue.
Time. And seeing that their provisions grew scarce, they delivered themselves up on the security of oaths that they should suffer no hard treatment from the king.
So they're like, listen, if we submit and let you guys in early, you got to promise you're not going to take advantage of us and make the people's life miserable. Continue.
And when Antiochus had thus taken the city, he did them no other harm than sending them out naked.
And we read about naked. It wasn't about taking their clothes off. It was about stripping them of their what? Weaponry, their military supplies. That's what you do to keep a country subjugated. Yeah. It's no different, and I'm not going to take this off too far, but when in a banking, even now, people don't think that the United States and the World Bank and the IMF, people don't think that the same tactics are used today, but they really are. Let's use like the third world countries like Africa, in Africa or in Latin America. If your money's funny, if you don't have enough to sustain yourself, you got to go to the World Bank to get a bank loan. And what people don't understand is who are the financiers behind the World Bank? United States, Britain, France. All the big boys control the financing that is used by the World Bank or the IMF. What the IMF and the World Bank does is we'll give you this money, but you have to be able to not tariff our goods. What does that mean? What is the only advantage that a home country has to keep people buying the products in their country but tariffs? What will keep you from buying a Mercedes-Benz versus buying a GMC truck or a Chevy? Why do people buy Chevys? It's cost. Listen, who don't want to ride flying fast in a Mercedes? You ever see that Mercedes with that glowing Benz symbol in the front end? That's fire. Who don't want that, huh? Then you go to that store. I remember one of my sons went to go to the Mercedes dealership. He said, how much is that car? And the salesman said, if you got to ask how much it's going to cost, and it's probably out of your budget. That's what they told him.
He was being honest, too.
He said, if you want to ask how much this car is, and you know it is the baddest car in the lot, if you got to ask what it is, then you can't afford it. And why? The car is dope. It's everything top of the line, but it was German. It was the finest the automobile on the market by the Germans. And it was beautiful. But why? Why? How come it's so unapproachable price-wise?
Because by the time it gets across the water, it goes up in price.
Yes,
it don't cost that much.
Because the Mercedes don't cost that much in Germany.
No.
But once you get it, they got to pay a tariff.
Yep. Matter of fact, when you go to Germany, the taxi cabs are Mercedes.
Oh, my goodness.
All the taxis are Mercedes.
Why am I explaining it this way? Because the tariff is designed to keep people to buy an American. But the deal that the IMF does is, okay, we're going to give you X amount of millions of dollars to sit back and supply your nation because you're in debt. But you are going to have to take away all of the tariffs from the United States companies, European companies. So now, this is what Esau calls free trade. Free trade is, we can come in here and undercut your price. And then the other part of it is, okay, you can only, if you take this money, you can only
Use our equipment.
we'll use our equipment, but you can only grow these type of crops in your country. So if Africa says, we want to sit back here and do wheat, fruit, rice, and vegetables on top of this cacao you guys have us doing. I'm like, no. You took this loan. You can only produce cacao. So if you can only produce cacao and ship that out, where are you going to buy your rice from if you can't create your own rice? If you can't farm your own vegetables and fruits and rice and all those vegetables, you got to buy that from American companies. And then you got to sit back here and do all this importing at the rates that the United States wants you to do. And that's how they break you. Yeah. Now you are subject to foreign companies and the prices they give you, because they don't allow you to be self-sustaining.
And if you don't take the loan, then they'll say, "Oh, this is a communist. He's running a communist terrorist operation.
He's a dictator."
Yeah.
Or back in the day, he's communist or he's socialist.
Yeah.
Now we got to sit back here and finance these monsters who are going to sit back here and constantly affect your people, hurt your people, attack your economy, attack your tourism. Because when places are so violent, you going to go there and visit? We got these machete Hamites running the streets out. Everybody wants to go to Ham. You want to go to Ham Town? Go at your own risk. These dudes are running around here in Mazda Miatazat with damn 50 cows behind them. Little Datsuns or these little Chevy S10s out.
They have
with makeshift like gats behind it out.
They have hustles that are allowed in their country that just aren't acceptable, but it's in that country. Like there's this chick online. She's a international. She's an international star online. White girl, but she says she's black. She talks with an African American accent.
You might hear the NAACP.
No. Not her, but.
Well, I'm gonna say like her.
But like her, but she's
she
cool.
got white girl got a perm. White girl got a perm.
Whoa, Becky or something like that. Whoa, something.
Okay.
And she's stuck in Africa, bro. And they have her acting like she's being influenced in Africa. This white girl, and she got all kind of bruises on her arms, and she can't say she wants to leave. She got human trafficked over there, and she's making videos, and she's not allowed to leave. She hasn't been to America in like months on months on months. She said like I love it here in Africa, but everybody around her is like real stern, a lot of stern spirits around her. So she's stuck in Africa, literally.
It's much Hamites with hats like I got on.
Yeah. I think
she's like this.
I think she's but they're acting like she's like this, like wants to be there, but her eyes don't say what her mouth is saying.
Yeah.
It's like it's Woe, whatever her name is. She stuck in Africa? Is she human trafficked? And she wanted to be on TV and stuff like that. She went out.
There's a cost for that.
And got caught. She got caught up over there.
And you're stuck with a militia group.
Listen, she's pretty much with a. They're kind of pushing her out to different people. But she's a good person. Like she's a Christian and everything. She wants to be righteous.
I don't know what to say.
The problem is she wanted that attention and to be Christian.
There you go.
So she got stuck, and she can't get back to America.
There you go. Well, listen. That's what comes to you if you want to sit back here and reestablish your country from the inside. Cut off the loan scenario and become self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
So then they'll get you out the way, find a sellout that will take the money, take the IMF loan money, which really only a quarter of it goes to the cause, and the other money goes to foreign bank accounts, Swiss bank accounts, and fattens these guys' pockets in exchange for the entire country being subject to the United States business endeavors and British business endeavors and French business endeavors. But that's how they strip these third world countries naked. It's the same concept. What Esau has learned to do over the time, which was initiated by the British rule. How can I finesse you out of your power? Versus using brute force. That's the only difference between the Greek way and the modern way. We're going to sit back and lock you into litigation, paperwork. We're going to pimp you through these bank loans. You took the deal. Listen, you ever heard of Ferdinand Marcos and his wife Winifred, I think? the loans he was taking in the 70s and 80s, the Philippines are still paying for it in 2020. Can you imagine that? The Philippines are still paying for loans in 2025 that the Marcos regime was taking. You think that country is going to be able to get out of debt? So what they said is the president of the Philippines now is we're just going to pay our debts off and not take no more debts. It's cool, but you're going to suffer. Your country's going to couple.
Yeah.
We're in the 2020s and it's still suffering.
Correct.
That's the smart play. But your country has to be in literal agricultural and economic stagnancy. Listen, that's why you go to these third world countries, their structures look like they're 1950 structures.
There's a reason for that.
Because they can't upgrade their scenarios. They got to get out of debt, then they can go back here and reestablish their countries. There's only a handful of countries that were smart about their loans. China, South Korea, Japan. Those are the countries that took loans but didn't overextend their loans, and there wasn't political corruption from the top where they would take all this money and just use it for themselves. What am I trying to say? All I'm trying to explain is how the Greeks did it back then by keeping their people they conquested naked. This is how America keeps their conquest naked now.
Without looking like the bad guy.
Without looking like the bad guy, but the criminal conspiracy is in their litigation.
Yeah.
You think they sit back here and tell people this is what they do?
It's no different when you turn 18 and all of a sudden all these credit cards start showing up at your house.
Yep.
And you get all these different offers, 0% down, no financing charge for the first 6 months. $1,000. They'll actually send you a check, and then in small print, this is a loan. Yeah, this in the fine print, this is a loan. But you're like, man, I got a free check. You're not smart. But it's our responsibility to teach our kids that also, because the objective is to make you a debt slave.
Listen, my son is in Oklahoma right now, living semester to semester off of the student money he gets out. He said, his credit card's maxed. And what he does is when that check comes in the beginning of October, late September, October, he take all the money and knock down the credit card and then live off the credit card until the next semester in January, February. And then then his card is maxed. Then he takes the money that he gets for that semester and puts it on that. He's just living literally off of this damn credit card. Like 4 or 5 month increments, just living off the credit card. Hey, Dad, you got $100 for me? I'm struggling. I'm hurting. I need some food. I'm hungry. And because the coaches, they'll sit back here and give you like a $5. Listen, at NAIA low level sports, they give you like $7 stipend, bro, for food. But you don't give them $7 out.
2 muffins.
And if you lose, he gonna give you $5. No lie, this is true. If you lose, you're getting $5 stipend out. You better get something from QT, dude.
You better win.
He's like sprinkles are for winners, bro.
You're not taking
you
my
want
lunch.
$2 more? Listen, you gonna get some whack turkey bologna and some white bread out. And you might get a little mustard on there because you lost. He's like, real meals are for winners. That's what the coach told him last year when they had a little losing streak. I'm like, bro, I thought you were God-fearing, man. You sit back here,
teach him.
you're banging on him like this. If you better win, you better get this ball in this hoop. Or you gonna sit back here and eat the worst damn dinner forever.
No, how many ways can you freak some ramen noodles? You know what I'm saying? You got beans and ramen, then you chop some hot dogs.
You better sit back here and get some turkey sausage, cook that thing, and throw it in there and freak it off. You better do something. Hot dogs into something.
It's ridiculous,
bro. But this is what they do. What am I trying to say? Going back to the point, Esau understands they can't outwardly look like the beast, but in their policy, it is making all these countries naked and dependent, because now that you take all their weaponry from them, they are dependent and exposed to anybody that flexes on them. So now you're subject to Greek protection. Now I need you. Now I need you for financially. I need you economically, and that is the key to maintaining world domination. And that's the point. So that's the game. So this is how I'm just explaining how they make nations naked now versus what Antiochus Jupiter is making Israel naked at Beth Horon. Are we clear?
All right.
So let's continue.
All right. Josephus, book 12, chapter 9, paragraph 5. And when Antiochus had thus taken the city, he did them no other harm than sending them out naked. He also placed a garrison of his own in the city.
And that's how you do it. You take away their weapons, and you put your military and your weapons in the city, and establish a citadel or a police station, or to be specific, you place a what? A military base.
Yep.
What do you think they do to these poor countries now? Once you forfeit on your bank loan from the IMF or the World Bank, after you've already forfeited your tariff strength, then if you forfeit, they say, okay, listen, we will give you an extension on your credit line knowing that you're going to need it. But what you're going to have to do now is sign off on us having a military base in your country. That's the catch.
To settle.
Yeah.
So then you sit back here, now you're in debt, you got to pay the debt. So you sit back and sign off on a debt extension along with allowing a military base to be there.
And
so now you've already given up, I would say, agricultural or business leverage. Now you've given up military leverage. They're right there in your backyard.
Yep.
And then you're going to give up more. Then after that, then they're like, we want access to your diamond mines. We want access to your industry scenarios.
Now they're going to bring their corporations in
I don't know.
and their manufacturers.
Yeah. But and then what they're going to do is, also, I forgot to say this, part of the IMF bank loan is that the money that you got to use to pay for your bank loans has to come out of your education budget.
Oh, so people got to be.
That's part
uneducated
of the deal.
Wow.
You're going to have to pay us back by knocking down your educational budget to sit back here and pay for the debts for this loan. So now the people get less education, less equipped,
They're going to pauper.
less equipped to even work the industries that are coming into the country.
It's a setup.
So the people can't come in here and actually learn the industry. You're just going to sit back here and be one of these guys hustling the streets. And then they'll sit back and say, oh, look at these Africans. Look at these natives in South America and Central America. They're just broke. They're nobodies. But if you don't allow them to get education and training, how will they? That's why that's why in these countries, you got to pay for school. You got to pay for school. Because there's not enough money for the public schools to actually pay for the children to get taught.
No, what they'll do is that's where the religion comes in at. Then they'll bring a Catholic institution, and they'll bring in a little Catholic foster care, and then they're teaching your children from a Eurocentric perspective of fearing their new God that is totally foreign to your culture, and then now you got to believe in this foreign God, this white Jesus, and then your kids are still being inundated with ideology. And still feeling less than because I never matched this white Jesus. I don't look like this white Jesus.
And
so I always feel second class.
And then all of a sudden, when that education kicks in, then the human trafficking rises. It's ready. These kids all of a sudden they're gone. You can't find them. There was a certain famous person that had a TV show that went from the 80s to the 2000s. So they're sitting back putting all this money in the women's schools in Africa. Then you get reports online of all the abuse that these African young girls were experiencing under this school that was ran by a very high-level black TV show person who sat back here and allowed all of this trafficking and abuse to happen in these African countries. So yeah, they might be getting quote-unquote taught religion, or we'll have this non-governmental organization or charity come through and teach these little black kids. But it's under the consequences of dealing with abuse, trafficking, exploitation.
Or you get a Clinton Foundation in your backyard.
That's a no-no. That's a bad one. Because a lot of them kids going to end up being used, missing. A lot of bad things happen to those people when they are exploited in these countries. But you see how the whole system is designed to keep these countries naked.
And it's like once you let them in, they're like a long-standing parasite.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to come out. They're going to leech. They're going to leech
Exactly.
your natural resources. They're going to leech off your economy. Whatever you have that you grow or you have minerals wise underground, they have access to it. And you're not going to touch your own GDP.
This is what the Spanish were doing when they took over Central and South America. They wouldn't allow the people in South America and Central America to grow anything but sugar. And they would sit back here and force farmers to give up their developing of citrus fruits and of the staple foods for your country. Rice, wheat. You couldn't sell that. You couldn't sell it, you couldn't grow it. That was part of the deal where sugar came in. And what they don't tell you is that sugar destroys your crops. It destroys your land. It extracts all of the nutrients in the ground. Sugar is one of the worst crops to have. Sugar is bad everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Sugar is bad to consume. Sugar is bad to grow. And it sits back here and wrecked the land in Central and South America.
Same with
no lie.
Same with the pineapples,
brother. And then all of a sudden, Esau wants to mess with your GDP. They start playing with the cost of sugar.
Yeah.
Then they start manipulating the cost of sugar, and then it destroys your economy. And then when you play ball, then they can bring it back up again.
Yep.
It's all about keeping the people around you naked, just in a business way, in a non-confrontational way. But they keep all these countries subject to you to keep you under control. So a guy like Burkina Faso, or not Ibrahim, I always forget his name. Traore Ibrahim in Burkina Faso, when he sits back here and tries to cut off funding, kick out countries out of the land, not take any more funding, starts trying to drill on their own. This is why this guy has over 20 assassination attempts on him.
Yep.
Because they got to get him out. That's the only way they can get their hands back on the natural resources and keep the country naked. This is happening all around the world. This is why I just found out a couple days ago that Maduro in Venezuela finally woke up to his senses and is doing a deal with Russia for backing.
You gotta have.
He better do it, because whatever deal you're gonna get from Russia, you're gonna lose. But it's better than losing your entire country. That's gonna be the only thing that establishes a stalemate in the world, in that region. You better bring Russian military out there in Venezuela. You better, because if not, Maduro's gonna be a dead man. He's a dead man if they don't bring Russia. Maduro is sitting back here doing deals with Russia and China in Venezuela to save his tail.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way they're going to survive. Anyway, why do we take this time to explain? You have to understand how the things written aforetime are written for your learning. There was more of a blunt force attack with Edomites back in those days. Now they've learned to systematically keep you naked now. But it's the same game.
While still looking like heroes.
By looking like they're the saviors of society. They'll sit back here, they'll politically put a person that they know is corrupt at the top. Because before these coups happen, they already got a guy ready to put in. That they've been trained from the West.
Developing from his youth.
They've developed him and groomed him from the West already. So when you hear about these things like in Nepal, that this all of a sudden the people sat back here, these college kids organized and kicked out the people, the leader of Nepal, who just a few days before he got taken out, finally made a decision to line up with China. Now all of a sudden he gets kicked out and ousted a week later. They've been planning this coup for months. And they already have a person that they want to insert into the spot who's going to push a pro-democratic way. Which means keeping the country broken and subservient and naked while being a thorn in China and India's way. Because Nepal is strategically right in the middle of India and China. And as you know, India and China are locking in with Russia to develop gas pipelines. So instead of having the Nord Stream from Russia to Europe, by 30, they're going to run a pipeline from Russia to China to eventually India. But if you sit back and have Nepal be against it, now India is affected. Everything is geopolitically strategized to throw monkey wrenches in these countries' plans to not be subservient to America. America's policies is all about establishing a way to keep the entire world naked and subservient to them. That's what all this has always been about.
And then pay your loans in American dollars versus pay your loans back in your own currency, which is be a lot cheaper. And this is how Germany was able to come out of poverty after World War One. They just stopped. They created their own money, and from the inside, and so all the loans they had to pay back, they had to rebuild their economy. They had to purposely crash their currency, and then start trading on a currency that was independent within themselves. And that's how they would raise themselves out of complete poverty after World War One. You have to financially figure a way out to get yourself out of debt. Just like here in America, you get in debt, you live check to check, you're gonna live paycheck, you're gonna be broke. You got to find a way not to create debt, not to live off debt, be dependent upon debt. And you're a debt slave, you're still a slave.
And like the brother Aggie student said, it can't be forgotten how political corruption and this political and corruption from the inside is what's corrupting the countries also. And my answer is there's no doubt that there is political corruption from the inside, and that's what's being used and exploited by the enemy, by the foreign countries. But that's what you use to continue to break a country. That's why the title of the class is what?
Israelite infighting.
The infighting that destroyed the blessing is what we're going to read about. Was it the Greeks that came in and kept destroying us because the Greeks are the wicked people, or the wicked Israelites kept fighting with Israelites that tried to keep the laws the right way and kept pulling the Greeks into the fighting, pulling the Greeks to sit back here and destroy us? If there's no weak link sellout, there's no way to get in. But the problem is there's always a weak link sellout. There's always a selfish person. There's always an individual that wants glory. And there's always somebody who doesn't want to do it the hard way and wants it the easy way. Yes, sir.
Was that the same with the Native Americans?
Yeah. Yes, there's always a sellout. There's always a person who wants to play the game. But back then, you didn't have to be. There was no finesse back then. It was the murder. It was the murder show. Finesse wasn't taught until you got to the British. They're the ones who taught the finesse way to destroy countries, to pit differences against each other. Don't forget, Pakistanis and Indians are the same damn people. They sat back here and said, we're going to divide these lines up based off of Hindu belief and Islamic belief.
God.
But before the white man split the land up, they were Indians who some believed in Islam and some believed in Hindu. And they cohabitated with no problems. The white man come here and say, you know what? Claim your set. Red or blue. Because of blood. Pick your side. And then all of a sudden there's beef and contention when it was never beef and contention. This is what he does. It's the same thing with Esau's use of extreme Islamic militants. They've used extreme Islamic militants to, Esau calls it, to destabilize the region, to weaken the region. Because a kingdom divided against itself is what? It's brought to desolation. When you can't, if you're not with each other, you're going to fall. And Esau understands divide and conquer without having to physically be there. He's going to play off of every one of our biases, our fears, our negative outlooks towards one another to justify war. It's no different in the 1880s when Esau came together in Germany to divide up Africa. They didn't care about tribes. They just sat back. They purposely created these divisions in Africa to establish tribalism and conflict amongst one another, to feed and nurture that. They didn't care about that. They purposely did that to keep everybody fighting one another. Anyway, so that's what's going on And that's how Esau keeps us naked now. The Greeks kept us naked back then by disarming us and putting a military base inside our citadel.
That's what we got here in San Antonio. It's called the Alamo.
Mm-hmm.
The Alamo ain't nothing but a fort that was injected by some settlers that refused to leave. When Mexico said, we need y'all to leave, they said, we refuse to go.
Yeah.
So with the help of 200 Tennessee cavalrymen or soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
they just put up a stand. So all of Texas was won off of one little bitty fort that refused to go. And so they ended up losing the battle, but through the help of additional military soldiers, they ended up getting all of Texas. And then forced Santa Anna back down further to draw a line and say, okay, we'll cede Texas over to these settlers.
So when they say remember the Alamo, they're saying don't forget to destroy your enemies.
Yeah.
And to sit back here and fight to the very end and never give an inch. That's why you still got those T-shirts with the tank. You just come take it.
Come and take
Come take it, nigga. That's the whole vibe behind it. Go take it, Mexican. That's the whole vibe that shirt means. We're going to sit back here and use our firearms to run you off. And then once we do this, whether we win or lose, our guys are going to come in here and back us up and run you guys off. Because it's us versus you.
We're colonized.
That's what come and take it means. This is colonizing 101.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's done on the state level and on the country level.
Yes.
On
And
the
it's
national
I got to get this. It's almost like what Jake says. I got to get mine. So I'm going to what?
Take yours.
I'm going to take yours. But the Jake looks like the thug when he says it. When he's fighting over a street that ain't his. Which is stupidity. But Esau will take that street. And be all right with it. You sit back here, you on the east side. Parts of it is all white. Why do you have dog grooming shops on the east side? Niggas don't groom their dogs. Do they? No, they don't. You lucky if you get them inside the house. Esau, I remember Esau telling my daughter, she says, listen, they were talking, whatever, and then they was like, listen, your dog stays outside. She was like, yeah. What are you talking about? Our dogs always stay inside the house. Like, what? Dogs walking on couches and smelling and I'm like, what the hell's going on? This all night? Most of the day they're indoors? And my dog was like, my dogs are outside. What's wrong with that? They're like you're an abuser of animals. Like what? Like what? It is a different way of looking at things, huh?
Your dog's in the bed with him, right?
That's what I'm saying. They in the bed. Come here, Rover. Listen, there's nothing wrong with having them in the house a little bit, but damn, when it's cold, I get it. But damn, all the time, it's 75 degrees outside. They can't be outside.
He's made to be outside.
Not for white folks. Anyway.
Dogs are the hood alarm. Right?
Hey, listen, but I'm going to say this. To that point, on our neighborhood chat line, it was like, listen, somebody keeps having their dogs outside all night long. What's their problem? And I'm like, guilty as charged. Esau is upset on multiple levels. It's harming the dog. It's cruel. The dog should be inside with the family. It's unethical. And then it's making too much noise.
Yeah,
but I'm going to say it's barking because there's damn possums outside running the damn territory. There's these weird smelling creatures that they smell and they can't see them, but they can smell them, right? And they got a set trip. That's what they're supposed to do. That lets you know there's an intruder or a stranger outside that they're not trusting. You need that. Yes, correct.
I was gonna say they do the same thing in for farms. Like you have like the dogs protecting
Yeah.
the sheep and everything. If they're in the crib all day, wolves gonna sit back here and eat up all their cattle and
Listen, Esau wants their dogs at the crib, bro. Period, point blank. They want them in the bedroom, chilling out. I love dogs, but not at after 10 o'clock. Yeah, get your ass out there, bro. Go back out.
They buy the PJs on and all that.
Yeah, buy them PJs, or when it's cold, they give them like sweaters. Like, dude, that's what fur's for.
No.
Why you getting a little outdoor raincoat?
Dogs got shoes
What are you
now.
talking
They
about?
have shoes now.
They got shoes on.
Listen, or when it's cold, He's gonna be cold. Like, what are you talking about? That's why they grow fur. That's what it's for.
But sometimes it gets cold out.
Listen, then go take a piss and get out there. Or if it's too cold, bring them in. I get it. Give them some blankets. They're gonna be in the garage. But blanket it up. Make it warm. But what? Come on, bro. You got these huge animals. These German shepherds gonna be in the house like just running around.
Yeah.
Pissing and biting on wood and tearing up your furniture. They don't tell you that. They will gnaw on stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back on topic.
Bad owner.
Yeah, I'm a bad owner, I guess. And where I'm at, they're like this. Who keeps their dogs out there all night? And it's like, yeah, I heard him too. I have a problem. I'm like, listen, bro. Listen, can't stop, won't stop.
Shame.
I ain't changing nothing. I ain't
Shame.
changing nothing. Seriously. They can talk all they want. I'm still repping outside dogs, Zach. Anyway, let's continue with Josephus.
My dog's outside.
That's what I'm saying, huh?
Josephus, book 12, chapter 9, paragraph
Listen,
5.
my outdoor dog is 117 years old because he was outside. How about that? Running them streets, killing possums, doing his thing. Keep going.
Robert Cass taking over Dope House.
That's what I'm saying. Keep going, Karai.
Line 377. But as for the temple of Jerusalem, he lay at its siege a long time, while they within bravely defended it. For what engines soever the king set against them, they set other engines again to oppose them.
So all they're saying is, all the engines created to break down the wall, Judas and his men made engines to sit back here and destroy those engines. So there was a big stalemate while the siege was going down. Read on.
But then their provisions failed them. What fruits of the ground they had laid up were spent, and the land, being not plowed that year, continued unsold, because it was the 7th year, on which by our laws we are obliged to let it lie uncultivated.
Like we explained, that sabbatical year, they were in a siege during the sabbatical year. Read on.
And withal, so many of the besieged ran away for want of necessary.
And we took a lot of our time for one of these weeks explaining that sometimes things aren't going to go your way, even though you had good intentions, to determine to see who was going to run and leave, because their faith was attacked. And a lot of men and women sit back here and run and leave and quit when things don't go their way. So for all those people that ended up leaving, never had an opportunity to see the Most High come through brilliantly for them. So so that became a what on their spirit, a stain. That became a stain on their spirit because they quit just because things went hard, things were difficult. And we want to try, when we sit back here and present ourselves to the Most High, to have as few amount of stains as possible. Okay? Continue.
That but a few only were left in the temple.
So that 8,000, listen, that 8,000 people, a lot of numbers left and dwindled down, and the only true believers were left. Okay? So hold that. Now let's go to 1 Maccabees 6, verse 55 and 56. Like I said, we went into more detail on that point a few weeks ago, but I'm trying to get past this so we can get on this topic. Let's keep going.
You said verse 55, right?
Yes, verse 55.
First Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 55. At that time, Lysias heard say that Philip, whom Antiochus the king, while he lived, had appointed to bring up his son Antiochus, that he might be king, was returned out of Persia and Media, and the king's host also that went with him, and that he sought to take unto him the ruling of the affairs.
So what's happening is this. When Israel was at the brink of being conquered, they were out of supplies. Men and families left. Everybody's back was against the wall. Simultaneously, as they were suffering, simultaneously as things looked its possible worst, the Most High was working for us to our advantage without our knowledge. This is literally what faith looks like in real time. The Most High is working for you, protecting you, even though you don't see it. As long as you maintain faith, a positive outlook, and purity of mind. So as what's happening, things are going bad, the circumstances aren't looking good, the Most High is using, at this particular time, Philip, which was Antiochus Epiphanes' number one guy. Philip was given the crown, he was given the position, and he was told to be the regent for his son Jupiter, not Lysias. Philip, there's intel that comes in that Philip from Egypt was working his way to Antiochia, which is the headquarters of the king, with his army to retake his position. So this is how the Most High looks after us. Whoever our enemy is, whoever our foe is, the Most High uses other people in other scenarios to aggravate and distract the person that might have greater power than us, to take his mind and his focus away from us. It's the same concept on a larger level with Esau and us. You think Esau's mind is 100% fixated on us? He can, listen, we are nothing at this point. Maybe in the 1700s and the 1600s, taking us down was important. But they have successfully controlled the Negro and the 9.5 tribe Israelite. They have been subjugated pretty easy. All they got to do is sit back here and elevate a certain musician, a certain artist, and we're done. A certain influencer, and we're done.
Give them a symbolic gesture of success.
Yep.
And they will.
And Jake's going to fight for them.
And they will get their hopes up, and they will defile themselves.
Yeah.
To please the higher society.
So we're light work. We're lightweight. The real work is now is the inner struggles amongst other Edomite nations and powers. That's got Esau's attention. You got Edomites killing Charlie Kirk. That is attention grabbing. Everybody's focused on that. The right versus the left. That's what the focus is. Which is a blessing for us. Because his mind isn't fixated on us. Okay? So, same thing is happening back then, which it was Edomite on Edomite crime. That saved the Jew. And that was the Most High's mercy, because the Most High in Proverbs 21:1 says the Most High puts it in the mind of the king. Let's read that real quick. Proverbs 21:1, I think.
Right. Proverbs.
Yep.
Chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Most High.
So the Most High was controlling Philip's mind to sit back here and inspire him to leave at the exact same time he left. Do you think he just woke up one day and didn't know? He had it on Philip's mind to gather his military months and months in ahead of time for this move. So the Most High is sitting back here and making Israel sweat and have doubts and fears about their condition on one end, while simultaneously sitting back here and setting up the exit solution while we're in our crisis of faith. But we can't see it. So we don't know the Most High is doing this. But once again, the things written aforetime are written for our what?
Learning.
We have to trust that in the midst of our conflict of faith, He is providing and grooming a solution in the midst of us losing what we're losing.
And that dynamic happened in the taking of the promised land also. The Most High had the murder hornets attacking the giants.
Yep.
And Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12. And while he was doing that, he was softening up the giants so that we had the opportunity to militarily destroy them.
And this is why the Most High was like, stop focusing on how big they are. Because as soon as you guys start roaring in the name of the Father, they're going to run. Because they're already softened up mentally and spiritually. They're all going omen crazy. Back in the day, the Most High sat back here and understood that the people we were fighting were also heavy into omens.
Yeah.
So the Most High, I'm going to use their phobias of omens and their fear of these spiritual hooly-gooly scenarios to get them afraid.
That's real.
Was it really about how big we were as a nation? We were weak in number and weak in size. But he knew how to push the buttons of these spiritually broken individuals to use their fears against him. It was no different than when the Assyrians were trying to kill us. They first got pulled down in the time of King Hezekiah to fight the Egyptians. And the Most High had a swarm of rats eat all their leather harnesses that attached to their weapons.
Yep.
They knew it was a bad omen, so they went back up to Jerusalem already afraid of something that's going to happen.
Or even when King Herod tried to pull up the grave of, he tried to open up the sepulcher of David, and there was an owl that perched above his doorway, and he knew that was a bad omen. He said, I shouldn't have done it. He had instant regret,
and he went crazy after that.
And his life was never.
Because he went crazy. He went mad after he sat back here and crossed the boundary he wasn't supposed to cross. But what's the point? The Most High is working on our side without us knowing about it. And that's what you have to stabilize your faith when you're going through difficult times. You have to believe that. So in the midst of us running out of food and supplies, the Most High is inspiring Philip to leave, gather all his troops, and then all of a sudden the word got leaked out to Jupiter's guys to put them on warning that Philip and his men are heading through the Via Mars pathway to get to Antiochia. So now, this is a perfect example of how the Most High is showing us what? Mercy. He shows us mercy by eliminating and moving a strong, weighty resistance away from you as a reward for your obedience. That reward wasn't for the quitters and the fear-mongers who bounced. That was a reminder of their lack of faith and their lack of allegiance to the Father.
Right.
This was a reward for the people who held in there, because they'll never forget that moment.
Yeah.
How are you going to tell them the Most High ain't real?
They're sealed.
Because the Most High sits back here and took away every form of control they possibly could have. Then he went to work. When we start losing control, we start losing doubt or losing faith.
Mm-hmm.
But the Most High literally, it's designed to strip every form of control you got. And then once you lose every form of control you have and you still hold fast, that's when he comes through for you. That is the accelerated or the highest level of faith a person can have. Over the last few weeks, we explained it. When you're young in the spirit, the Most High gives you this form of control that makes you think if I do the right thing, he comes through for me. But then when it's time for you to grow, he starts stripping that control from you. So you can understand what this is really about. It really ain't about how badass you are, how badass you think you are. We're really nothing. All we got is our capacity to trust the Most High is there for us. So, as this happened, Philip and his men, who Philip has the crown and the robe of the king, he's justified to take the spot. But Lysias and his son also were justified to take the spot. So now the war is on. So now Jupiter is like, bro, I can't stay here fighting with these Jews, knowing damn well they're probably fortified for months on end. Now he didn't even know that we didn't have no supplies. This is how the power of the Most High is. He thought, you're going to read, he thinks we're set and ready to go for months. Because you think he's conscious of the law we had to live?
No.
He don't know about the damn 7th year. Oh, he ain't thought about it. It's a sabbatical year and we're low on supplies. Because if he knew that, he'd push it a little more longer. Or maybe put a small military group there and bring the bulk, exactly, and still break them and win both battles. So this is the power of the Most High. So, are we clear on that? Colin, you get your hand up?
No, it's like
Okay. Let's continue.
First Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 57.
No. Read verse 56.
Oh, 56, Verse 56. Was returned out of Persia and Mede, And the king's host also that went with him, and that he sought to take unto him the ruling of the affairs.
So give me verse 57 now, sir.
57. Wherefore he went in all haste, and said to the king and the captains of the host and the company, we decay daily, and our victuals are but small.
This is Lysias saying this. This is the regent for Jupiter saying, hey man, we're decaying daily. We don't have the supplies to sustain this siege for a very long time. These guys are up there they look strong, their walls are legitimate. There's no way we're going to break them in enough time to then come back up here and take out Philip. Because if longer we take up here, Philip's going to get all the position, getting the addition. Philip's going to sit back here and get the additional military and fortify himself in Antiochia. Then we're going to come up here and get ambushed and get taken down by Philip's men. So we need to play this smart and get out of here because these Jews are fortified for a long time.
We got bigger fish to fry.
Yep. So, let's continue.
God, we decay daily, and our victuals are but small, and the place we lay siege unto is strong, and the affairs of the kingdom lie upon us.
We got to deal with camp business. We got to deal with grown white problems.
Yeah.
Empire stuff.
Yeah.
We ain't got to deal with these low-level tribes.
Over this religion.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they're saying. This is why.
We're fighting over their books.
We're fighting over.
Have your books.
And that's what they end up saying. Have your stinking religion.
We're not letting
you want to sit back here and follow your gods? Who gives a damn? We got to sit back here and empire build.
Yeah. We got time to fight you over your religion all day.
That's the point. But that's what Esau knows is war. But the bigger war is more important. And the Most High is drawing Jupiter and Lysias out of the picture. But let's continue.
Verse 58. Now therefore, let us be friends with these men.
So Lysias is talking to Jupiter and said, listen, bro, let's make a peace with them. We don't got to argue. We don't got to fight. Because Lysias is like, what? Well, first of all, what's making Lysias change his thoughts? The Most High.
Yeah.
Most High, listen. It was a dumb war from the beginning. Why send 120,000 people to fight these 8,000 men? I'm going to sit back here and blow all my resources over 8,000 black dudes out.
Because they didn't want to eat pork.
That are meaningless? They're meaningless in the grand scheme of things. The Greeks were controlling an entire realm.
Okay.
And I'm going to send 120,000 in elephants and getting these elephants drunk and high out.
Just stop.
We're raising these elephants' glucose levels out. You don't raise the elephants. You don't give elephants diabetes out. Just to sit back here and kill 8,000 black dudes out. That don't make no sense. This is what they're saying, huh? I gotta get them high off mulberry juice and wine out.
Yeah.
For this don't make no sense. This is how the Most High is reframing Lysias' mind to reality. But the Most High is using all these people to sting us, to enrage them, to sting us, and to sit back here and detract them away from us. The Most High is in control of everything. Let's continue.
God says, now therefore, let us be friends with these men and make peace with them and with all their nations.
So they also knew what it would take to make them happy. Just give these guys their religion and pay us.
Give us some money, bro.
Give us some money. Keep paying us and just keep your damn religion and we'll be okay. Let's just think. Let's think about this.
Yeah.
Read on.
Verse 59. And covenant with them that they shall live after their laws, as they did before. For they are therefore displeased and have done all these things.
They're going crazy because we just don't let them follow the Sabbath. They're going to war and being crazy and they're giving us problems just because they don't want to work on Friday night to Saturday night. Can we give these guys their stinking day?
Yeah.
So they can stop giving us problems and they're giving the entire region problems. These guys giving the entire region problems because we don't give them Saturday off. Can we give these guys Saturday off and kill the guy who's not letting them have Saturday off so we can deal with bigger problems? And Jupiter's like, you're right, bro. What are we tripping out? Let's get out of here and deal with white problems out. This white crime we got here.
It's the same obsession or I guess the same concept of when Esau.
Let's get out of Vietnam.
Let's get out of. Let's
Listen.
get out. Let's get out of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
These forever wars that are just draining finances.
Yeah.
We have other affairs. Russia's coming. China's coming.
Yeah.
Why are we sitting here in these deserts fighting over poppy seeds when we could lose our kingdom?
They left Afghanistan. They still got their drugs.
Why?
They said, listen, we're gonna leave our equipment here. There's value here. They left their equipment that was millions of dollars worth of equipment. We'll leave the equipment. We'll keep the keys in the trucks. Just sit back here and give us our drugs, and we'll be okay. You don't think they got their drugs? They got their drugs. They got their poppy joints on. Listen, in Afghanistan, people that weren't poppy farmers were made to be poppy farmers.
That's correct.
No, you can't grow wheat. You're gonna grow these drugs, bro. You're gonna grow poppy, or we're gonna destroy. We're gonna confiscate your farm. That's still happening. So yeah, it's the same, but it's the same thing with Vietnam. Why fight these guys in the jungle? We're burning resources for nothing.
Well, Vietnam was in support of the French because the French was the first ones to go get the butt kicked by the Vietnamese.
Yeah, the Frenchies are always getting their butt kicked by all these countries. They're the one European nation that gets beat up the quickest, and they have the least heart. That's historical. But the problem was the U.S. was backing them financially, and it behooved them to go in there and back it up and back them up financially. What they don't tell you is when Stalin, Roosevelt, and Churchill met after World War II, the plan, they already agreed. They said, Stalin, you can take Europe. You can take Eastern Europe, it's yours. But the United States wants Indochina and in Korea. And in Britain, they were just going to keep what they was going to get. That was they accepted to split the country up that way. So the United States was fighting for control of the Indochina region. And that's why when they made that deal in the 40s, the first war after that was where? Korea.
Yep.
That was the Korean War. Then after the Korean War, they had their handprint all in the Indochina region. They were trying to, they broke Japan because Japan was taking out who? China.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they took out Japan. Japan was one of the top three, I think the third or fourth strongest industrial nation before World War II. So, and Japan was trying to get control of China and the Indochina region. And the United States says, forget that. We're going to break you by putting tariffs, not tariffs, but sanctions on your oil. And then they went crazy. When they took away Japan's oil, that's how they were. Japan only had enough oil to last a year. That's why they started going crazy out. They couldn't fight. They couldn't fight a prolonged war against the United States and maintain the China front. So that's why China made these extreme bombing moves. They did extreme moves.
Japan, right?
Japan. Did I say China?
Yeah.
Japan made extreme moves to bomb Pearl Harbor and these other spots because they had no other choice. They had to attack hard and heavy in hopes that the United States would relent because they only had so much oil and reserves left. That's why their behavior was erratic and extreme.
Yep.
They were desperate. But the United States, we want that region. I don't want to fight over Europe. If you want us island, take that crap. But we want China, and we want all that Indochina region. And then it flipped on them when Mao Zedong went to Russia and took the communist path. And then the rest of the fighting for them was to fight for that region. But by the time they were sitting back here in China or in Vietnam, they said, man, this is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
The other portion, the funny thing is, the northern portion of Vietnam was still communist. They were fighting in South Vietnam to keep South Vietnam democratic. They said it's a waste of time. Take it. It's not worth the energy and the exertion of forces and resources to take down this South Vietnam space. We put too many millions in. We got to get out, cut our losses.
A lot of losses. There's 100,000 young men and women died, but not.
But
so much,
they
but
didn't care about the people. They care about the money they was losing. They lost too many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
In this book I read, it was saying this. It was all about cost effectiveness. How much money is it going to spend to establish a covert regime change versus an overt regime change? It's almost like Esau over the years have learned this mathematical principle. I don't mind spending this much out of my budget to take over an empire, but if it's going to cost more than that, let's reassess what this is going to take and go a different direction.
Right.
We might have to go overt versus covert. This is why it has become an overt war, because the covert attempts didn't work. All the covert ways to overthrow Russia hasn't worked, so now we got to go overt to instigate a physical combat. That's why it's physical now, because being overt didn't work. Being covert didn't work. Covert is under the mask of secrecy, and overt is out. We're going to just go get you. And this is why overt war was established, because they baited Russia into crossing over to Ukraine. Now we got you. Now we got pretext to come and take you out. But it was all because they had to create that. They had to go them into a war. That's why they kept saying, we're going to get Ukraine to go to NATO. That was the bait. That's like saying, we're Russia. We're going to sit back here and put military bases in Mexico. And we want to sit back and really close partners with Mexico.
And put nukes right there in Mexico.
You're baiting the United States into a war. And then all of a sudden, if the United States comes to Mexico, oh, see, you're off. We got to go to war now. That's what was done. Reverse. That was a reverse Uno card used that the United States did to Russia. Let's bait them in, and then say, you guys attack their sovereignty. Let's go to war with you. Anyway, that's the game they play. And what's happening now with Antiochus, Jupiter, and Lysias are like, man, it's not cost effective. We might lose our position if we stay here. Let these Jews go. But all this geopolitical shenanigans is happening is really the Most High working on the minds of leadership. Why am I explaining it this way? This is the same way the Most High is working on the minds of the people now. He's working on their minds geopolitically, just like he's doing at this past time with Lysias and Philip, in a determination of how to keep their empire and their control strong. Let's continue.
First Maccabees 6 and verse 59. It says, and covenant with them, that they shall live after their laws, as they did before. For they are therefore displeased, and have done all these things, because we abolished their laws.
Exactly. We're done.
So the king and the princes were content.
They're like, listen, we can live with backing out. It's no big thing. Let's not stress about this move we're going to make. Read on.
Wherefore, he sent unto them to make peace, as they accepted thereof.
And they accepted, meaning Jews, and it was like, hell yeah, this is the Most High looked after us. He saved us. The Most High saved them. By convincing them, it wasn't a cost-effective move.
Yeah.
Read on. But don't forget, when the Most High is working on Esau's rationale, that's the Most High looking out for us. It's no different than the powers that be were using Black Lives Matter and all these movements to look after black people. You can look at it as this black men finally getting their just due. No, we're a tool that's being used to instigate and frustrate other Edomites. Just know that. Just know the Black Lives Movement and all those movements are used to divide the country more in half and to stir up anger amongst the Edomite position. That's what it is, but it's still a form of the Most High's mercy, because he's going to use these powers that be to give us a little mercy.
It's a tool to destabilize Esau.
It is a tool to destabilize this country, but at the same time, it's buying us some time. And it's buying us and relieving stress and further aggression and negative things happening to us. That's how you have to look at it. It's not Esau looking after us, because everybody setting up that Black Lives Movement is not like us. And first of all, we didn't set up BLM. Esau did. Amalek did, to be specific.
And we didn't start the NAACP either.
We're not. They're not our friends. We are being used as a political tool to push a greater agenda. But I'll take that deal because it's saving our people's lives. And look at it that way, and it's no deeper than that. Okay? Okay, let's continue.
Verse 61. It says, also the king and the princes made an oath unto them, whereupon they went out of the stronghold.
No. Okay, so we did verse 60, right? Let's go to, now it's about time for you to head out. Let's go to Josephus, paragraph 6 now. You got something?
Yeah, and in just a second, it's a particular point you brought up that when it's a point that you brought out when I got it. Okay. It's a point that you brought out about the Most High was this whole situation was revealing multiple things at the same time. One, the Most High was bringing about a distraction from our oppressors. Our oppressors were distracted from clamping down on us. No different than, when you look at how the Civil War gave us somewhat of a break from slavery. And then you look at World War I gave us a little bit of a break from being lynched in the South. World War II, same thing.
And it saved us from getting killed.
Yeah.
We weren't the ones out there fighting for the most part. Most I was looking after us.
That was the Most High's doing. And then also, at the same time of distracting our oppressors, the Most High was weeding out those that didn't really believe. And those that weren't committed by having short supply and that short supply of resources put us in question, like, you know what, maybe we should evacuate and leave and run and hightail and get ourselves out of here and go save our own skin. So the Most High is doing multiple things at one time. But I just want to bring out in this book of Eusebius right here, is that when the Romans, same Edomite nation, when the Romans were killing Christians in Gaul, some Christians defected and they renounced their belief in the hopes of saving themselves. And I just want to bring this up. This is in the book of Eusebius, page 153. And this is book 5, chapter 1, page 153. It says, let me get this right here. It says, for those that had fallen from the faith on the first seizure were also themselves imprisoned and shared in the sufferings of the rest. What he's saying is that through every attack, war, the first sign of hey, we're in big trouble, some people are going to respond different than others at the first sign of trouble. Some people are going to say, you know what, we're going to go head up with these Edomites and we're going to fight and we're going to stand firm until we got no food left, no water left, until there's not one man standing. Not everybody has that type of resilience in their faith. Not everybody believes that way. He says, when you look at these Romans killing Christians, he said at the sign of the first seizure, when the laws were put out, they had put these edicts out that the Christians are a problem for the Roman Empire. He says, so immediately you had some people that defected just off the notion of knowing that, man, these Romans are about to come kill us because of our faith. And so some people are going to stand firm. Some people are going to defect. That's in every time frame. And that's in every culture, especially when you deal with our people. But the Most High is behind it, though. He says, for those that had fallen from the faith on the first seizure were also themselves imprisoned and shared in the sufferings of the rest. Their renunciation did them no good at this time. But those that confessed that they were what they really were imprisoned as Christians. No other charge being laid or alleged against them, but these at last were confined as murderers and guilty culprits and were punished with twice the severity of the rest. So when you are in a situation where the Most High is pushing you to have faith, if you defect, the outcome is worse than you not defecting. The outcome.
Please cut that down.
The outcome, he said, is twice as worse as it would be if you were just to stand firm and fight back. But the Most High is trying to reveal that by bringing the hard times, by bringing the seizures or the attacks. That's what the Most High is doing. He's revealing who has real fortitude and who doesn't. Those that don't have real fortitude, even though they defect temporarily to save themselves, it's still going to be twice as bad on them on the back end. And let that be a lesson for any time that we hit a hard time and we try to run for self, or we try to go for self,
Yep.
or try to escape and try to alleviate the pressure, or alleviate the trouble, or alleviate the pain because we're being discomforted. Just want to bring that out on that point.
Okay, so let's continue. Where are we at in Josephus? It's book 12, chapter 9, paragraph 6. Let's do that. Thou let's just load it in first. Watch it.
Hawan Rakha, Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Banya Sha'ala.
Thou I'm with you. Rook. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Rakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Rakatah.
That's what's up. So,
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 12, Chapter 9, Paragraph 6, line 379, page 331. And these happened to be the circumstances of such as were besieged in the temple. But then, because Lysias, the general of the army, and Antiochus, the king, were informed that Philip was coming upon them out of Persia, and was endeavoring to get the management of public affairs to himself, they came into these sentiments to leave the siege and to make haste to go against Philip. Yet did they resolve not to let this be known to the soldiers or the officers. But the king commanded Lysias to speak openly to the soldiers and the officers, saying, without saying a word about the business of Philip.
so what they were saying is, listen, we're not gonna stress out the soldiers and get them to get all caught up in their head before they get to the battle. I guess their strategy was let them just get ready to go to war when it happens, versus creating this spirit of tension on the way to this fight. Okay, so it was a strategy to keep everybody
The morale high.
Yes, keep everybody's morale high. Yes, sir. Let's keep going.
And to intimate to them that a siege would be very long, and that the place was very strong, and that they were already in want of provision.
So he said, just give them a reasonable reason why we're going to bounce out. Let's create a narrative to get them out of here without looking bad.
Y'all looking like losers.
Oh, you know what that is? It sounds like propaganda to me.
Yeah.
It's a beginning forms of propaganda. Let's create a narrative to get us out of the way, to get us to leave. Let's justify our exit without looking bad, and let's not let them know that we're leaving to get ready for another battle. So let's sit back here and control the narrative. This is Esau's thinking from the beginning. Esau just got more, well, I'm not saying more better, but more strategic about how they set up their narrative down the line over history. Let's keep going.
That many affairs of the kingdom wanted regulation, and that it was much better to make a league with the besieged, and to become friends.
He says many of the affairs of this Jew kingdom wanted regulation. So he says they're telling the military guys the way to fix this problem is to regulate the management, to sit back here and soften some of these policies. He says, let's go political. Let's sit back here and compromise on a political level versus using brute force. That's what it's regulation. You know, we have to regulate this industry. You know what regulating an industry means? We're going to sit back here and let's bring some more technical authority. Let's think this thing out. Let's strategically work on these situations. If we strategically work on this scenario, we don't got to use blood, sweat, and tears every 5 minutes. Get what I'm saying? Let's think this thing through. So this is the strategy that was used. Let's continue.
And that it was much better to make a league with the besieged and to become friends to their whole nation by permitting them to observe the laws of their fathers, while they broke out into this war only because they were deprived of them, and so to depart home. When Lysias had discoursed thus with them, both the army and the officers were pleased with this resolution.
So they didn't look weak. They didn't look fragile. He said, we're going to negotiate with these guys and allow them to sit back and set their laws up so there can be peace in the region so y'all don't got to come back down here no more. So they're like, cool, we're done. Let's get out of here. Not knowing they had a major war coming up waiting for them in Antioch. But hold this. Now let's go to verse 61 in Maccabees.
First Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 61. Also the king and the princes made an oath unto them, whereupon they went out of the stronghold.
So listen. The king and the princes made an oath that there's not going to be any war. So Judas and the men came out of the stronghold and started talking about terms of peace. Temporary peace, but it was peace. Read on.
Then the king entered into Mount Sion.
So now they allowed the king to come in, to sit back here and talk. They allowed the king Antiochus Jupiter to come and see Jerusalem. So he went in to see Jerusalem. Read on.
But when he saw the strength of the place.
So he sat back here and looked at these walls and how thick the walls are and how strong the fortifications are. Then he turned back to the white man. He turned back to the white man like, these guys are a threat. Just want to explain. Read on.
He brake his oath that he had made.
Listen. This is Esau's great for this. I promise you I won't do something. But what you don't show you is his fingers are crossed in the background. Yeah. His fingers are crossed. I promise. Just let me in. There's no harm. There's no war. They go in there and he switch up like this. So Jupiter goes in there with Lysias. They see how the structure is and they switch up on him. Read it from the top again. Verse 61. No, what verse
62,
was it?
Sir.
Yeah, verse 62 from the top.
Verse 62. Then the king entered into Mount Sion. But when he saw the strength of the place, he brake his oath that he had made, and gave commandment to pull down the wall round about.
So he said, listen, man, forget this. You guys are too strong. And because you guys are too strong, I'm going to look at this image real quick. Let's look at how the structure of Jerusalem looks. Everything is sloped. So much of the land is sloped. It's hard to gain traction up these hills. It's like a turkey shoot. If I have leverage over you, I can just pick you guys off. It's hard to even run those war engines up on that hill. It's hard to run these engines up that hill at that angle and not get picked off.
The perfect.
Now, if the land was flat, you can utilize your shields and protections a lot better. But the majority of the land is hard to enter. You almost have to enter from the top. Because from the north, where the actual temple is, you have a better chance of bringing your war engines because the land is more level. So just on a procedural scenario, it's very hard to get to this spot. So once Jupiter gets inside, he's like, man, this is a damn problem. And if we ever want to deal with y'all, it's going to be hard to deal with y'all. So what does he order? He orders the temple or portions of the wall to get torn down. So you know what has to happen? We actually followed it and adhered to the damn deal. We'll give you peace, but a portion of this wall has to get destroyed. So we'll have access to get in. So it wasn't like we got a great deal. But the question was this: could we sit back here and be in a position to argue and fight with them? We had to take a bad deal. We had to tear down a portion of our wall and be naked to all of our enemies. That's what naked is. We had to sit back and undress ourselves and allow a portion of the Jerusalem wall to be broken down. So if the Greeks wanted to come, they can go straight down to that weak spot and have access in there. So even Esau, when they're sitting back here and saying, we're going to establish some regulation and bring some peace matters in, just know, when Esau comes with peace, he's also coming with some security and protection for him. He's not going to sit back here and allow you during peace proceedings to be completely able to get strong again. This is what happened with Germany after World War I. Germany said, we give up, we lost. With that Treaty of Paris, they sat back here and stripped all of the majority of their industrial territory. They had to give up. A lot of their farmland they had to give up. They said, listen, you have to get rid of like 1/3 to 2/3 of their like naval capacity. They had to give up a lot of their U-boats, a lot of their tanks. They confiscated a lot of their tanks. And then they had to open up peacekeepers to come in and look at their military stocks after the fact. This is what they're trying to do with Iran. You have to let UN peacekeepers or individuals who test for nuclear scenarios go through all of your weapons and determine where your nuclear program stands. This is where that guy Scott Ritter became famous. Remember when Scott Ritter went to Iraq to determine if there was weapons of mass destruction? And he went through all of Iraq and said, listen, man, there's nothing here. And he held firm on his readings or his findings. And they blackballed him from the military after that. Because Esau's premise of going to war in 2000 was because Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. So we got to come and destroy 500,000 children because of that. Ritter said, man, I do my job well, and I was thorough, and I went to all their places, and they do not have weapons of mass destruction. So he just whistleblowed and destroyed the narrative to go to war. So they buried him. But this is what they do. They do it now, and they did it back then. How can I keep a country naked? And the funny thing is, even after World War I, Esau realized, the British in particular realized, we broke Germany too much. We restricted them too much. So because we restricted them too much, we have to allow them to build their industrial complex a lot stronger. What they don't tell you is the reason they allowed it to happen is because they didn't want communism going past Germany. They used Germany as a third block, a third place in the middle to keep Russia, communist Russia, in the Far East, and to stop that wave from getting to Britain. To stop that wave from getting to Britain, we have to sit back and allow Germany to get somewhat stronger to counter, and with their fascism, to push back their communism in Russia. So they allowed Germany and Italy to have a little bit of a foothold while simultaneously keeping France a little weaker. Historically, they'd say that because Britain wasn't landlocked, they kept their navy strong, and they allowed Germany and France to constantly be in war with one another to weaken themselves so Britain wouldn't have to worry about the pressure of foreign invasion. Because as long as I got the Frenchies worried about Germany on their heels, they can't fix their eyes on us. This is the British thinking. And as long as I keep French strong enough, the Germans can't overly extend against us also, which always maintained and protected the British position. Anyway, so that's why they allowed Germany to rebuild their strength in the first place after World War I. But what am I trying to say? Esau, when it's about negotiating for power, they always have to keep you a little bit weak and subservient to them before they leave an area. So they allowed the wall to be broken down. We allowed them to do it. They broke down the wall, then they left. It doesn't say how big the wall was broken down, but it was obviously substantial enough to where it weakened them. So once again, we're constantly getting beat up and taken down and not allowed to keep strength and not allowed to keep our independence all the way. They do another move also to cripple the independence, but we'll read about that in a second. So read verse 62 again.
First Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 62. Then the king entered into Mount Zion, But when he saw that the strength of the place, he brake his oath that he had made, and gave commandment to pull down the wall round about.
Read on.
Afterwards departed he in all haste, and returned unto Antiochia, where he found Philip to be master of the city.
So by the time they got there, the man Philip, who was ordained by Antiochus Epiphanes to run the empire, had already gotten to Antiochia and locked it down. So when they got there, they had to prepare for a major battle against Philip and his men and the people in Antiochia who chose his side over Lysias' side. Read on.
So he fought against it and took the city by force.
So Philip ended up losing. It was meant that Lysias and Jupiter regained their spot in Antiochia, and there was temporary peace in the region. Now, what you don't read about between verse 62 and 63, we're going to read in 2 Maccabees chapter 13, verse 1 through 8. Second Maccabees 13, verse 1 through 8. We're going to kind of go into what happened. There was a few more things that happened in Jerusalem before they went back to Antiochia and had full-fledged war against Philip and his men. So 2 Maccabees chapter 13, verse 1 through 8.
2 Maccabees chapter 13 and verse 1. In the 149th year, it was told Judas that Antiochus Epiphanes, Jupiter, was coming with a great power into Judea.
So it's going back a little bit further back, but the intel was that Jupiter and his men with Lysias were coming out to take him out. Read on.
And with him, Lysias, his protector.
Mm-hmm. Or his regent. Protector or regent, because Jupiter was like 9 years old. Read on.
And ruler of his affairs, having either of them a Grecian power of footmen, 110,000, and horsemen 5,300, and elephants 22, and 300 chariots armed with hooks.
Yep. Read on.
Menelaus also joined himself with them.
This is what you don't get in the first Maccabees chapter 6 scenario. Menelaus, that same guy that helped run Israel to the ground many chapters ago in 2 Maccabees chapter 5 and 4. Remember Menelaus took over Jason, ended up killing Onias to secure his position in Jerusalem, and how he was ruthless and he was oppressing the Jews that followed the law. He set up that citadel in Acre, and he was the one that trained all those young men with Greek military tactics. He was the one that was the head when Judas was attacking Acre, that citadel. Menelaus was there, but Menelaus wasn't in the temple. Menelaus was in Antiochia, protected. So now we're reading that Menelaus came down with Lysias and Jupiter from Antiochia to come and take Judas out in this war. So he was on their side, probably in an elephant chilling, sitting back here and backing the dethroning of Judas.
Sell out.
Yep, on the highest level. Read on.
Menelaus also joined himself with them, and with great dissimulation encouraged Antiochus, not for the safeguard of the country, but because he thought to have been made governor.
So listen, Menelaus' hunger was unexplainable. His desire to grow, he wanted to grow and run things beyond Jerusalem. To be governor, that means you have to be governor over the region. He wanted to be governor over Phoenicia. He wanted to be governor over Tyre and Zidon, Philistia, over Samaria. He wanted to run the entire region, including Idumea and Syria and east of Jordan. He wanted aspirations like that. Read on.
But the king of kings moved Antiochus' mind against the wicked wretch. And Lysias informed the king that this man was the cause of all mischief.
Remember we read in 1 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 60 something where it says, listen man, all they wanted was their loss. He says the king of kings, the most high, is the one who changed Lysias' mind and Jupiter's mind to get to the cause of why they're sending 120,000 men to war in the first place. And they came to realization through the Most High's will that Menelaus was the reason that all this crap was happening. Okay? So read verse 4 again.
Verse 4. But the king of kings moved Antiochus' mind against this wicked wretch. And Lysias informed the king that this man was the cause of all mischief.
Damn.
So that the king commanded to bring him onto Berea.
He says, once they decided to make a peace deal with Israel, this is what ended up happening. Okay, we're going to make a peace with these Jews. All they wanted was the law, like we read in 1 Maccabees chapter 6. But with that, there's like this guy Menelaus who's with us. He's the reason we're fighting. So we got to deal with this dude and send him to Berea. Berea is in the country of Syria. In Syria, that was the place, that was the execution hub. We're going to read that he got sent to Syria and got done dirty for his crimes. He got punished. He was the fall guy for all the war that the Jews went through in the first place. He ended up being the fall guy.
What do you mean?
You'll see. Let's continue.
And to put him to death, as the manner is.
I need you to wake up. Open your eyes. Read that again.
Yes, sir. It says, and to put him to death, as the manner is in that place.
So the manner that's in that place is they throw you off a 75-foot bridge or a cliff. They throw you off a 75-foot damn cliff, and that's how you that's your death sentence.
You skydive.
Listen, bro.
With no parachute.
That's a bad way to go down. You better hope you get a heart attack and die before you hit the ground.
Hopefully it's a smooth, just one shot impact versus tumbling, and then you got, your body's broken. Then you got buzzards picking at you.
Oh my God, bro.
God. So this was Menelaus' fate for all the wickedness that he had did and all the trouble he brought to Jerusalem. Okay, so they end up finding out and all of a sudden waking up the Most High. Once again, the Most High is in control of all of this because literally they were taking Menelaus' word for it, leading up to this point. Then all of a sudden they switch up and say, "Man, you're the guy that was the problem." That's the Most High. That's no different than when Xerxes couldn't get sleep one night. And so let me look at the books of
Good deeds.
the deeds of the men. All of a sudden he says, "Damn, man, this guy Mordecai looked out for me and saved my life. Who's giving this man a recommendation?" That's the Most High doing that. And in the midst of that, they find out that Haman wanted to kill Mordecai, the guy that looked after him. And everything changed. But that's how the Most High works on our behalf without us knowing it. So Lysias figures out that Menelaus is the cause of all this problem because he's the one pushing the Greek way and causing a civil war. So let's eliminate this problem so we can regulate the region and stabilize the region.
So clarity came.
But the Most High provided clarity. So let's continue.
Verse 5. Now there was in that place a tower of 50 cubits high.
Which is 75 feet. So this is what's happening. In this city of Berea, Syria, is a 75-foot high damn cliff. Read on.
Full of ashes. And it had a round...
You know what ashes is? Dead bodies. That's what ashes is. It's dead bodies. Bones turn to ashes. So you have a bunch of decomposition down there, and that's at the bottom of that 75-foot cliff. Just so you know what ashes are. Read on.
And it had a round instrument, which on every side hangs down into the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And whosoever was condemned of sacrilege,
Mm-hmm.
or had committed any other grievous crime, there did all men thrust him unto death.
Mm-hmm.
Such a death it happened that wicked men to die.
Menelaus. Uh-oh. Okay. So it says such a way that this wicked Menelaus had to die. Getting thrown off a 75-foot cliff to your death in Syria. So once they made peace with Jerusalem, broke down a portion of the wall, They took Menelaus to Syria, which is on the way to Antiochia, killed that guy, and headed back up to Antiochia. Read on.
Not having so much as burial in the earth, and that most justly.
So he says he was killed and the scavengers ended up eating his body, just like it was justified. He didn't deserve a proper burial for all the wickedness Menelaus did to Israel. Read on.
Verse 8. For inasmuch as he had committed many sins about the altar, whose fire and ashes were holy, he received his death in ashes.
And you listen, once again, you see how the Most High connects the wickedness and evil that you do, and he punishes you very equal and similar to how you defiled yourself and your people in your life. He said he kept the fire and ashes from the healing of our people, then he has to die through fire and ashes. That's how the Most High justly stings you. Antiochus sat back here and sacrificed his bowels, gave up his mercy and kindness for his gain. Then he attacked the bowels of Antiochus as his punishment. So the Most High gets us.
You know, and Matthew Henry says that he calls it the punishment is meat for the crime.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks to the sin.
Yep.
So no different than when a person has pride, arrogance, or haughty look, and then they get leprosy.
Yep.
You know, so then that when I thought of myself as arrogant, high-minded, now the shame is upon me all over. So the Most High stings us according to the level of sin that's in us.
No doubt.
So you can identify the level of wickedness.
So you know what? So people can see it.
Yeah.
So people that have been around you can learn what not to do in their life.
Right.
That's how the Most High kind of teaches us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's continue.
Verse 9.
No, we're done with 9. I want to So I want to go real quick in a separate writing that explains the terms and conditions behind the Greeks leaving Jerusalem. It's just a paragraph. It's nothing major. He said, he offered, this is Lysis, he offered religious freedom for the Jews, removing Menelaus, the Hellenizing priest, and executing him, and amnesty for Judah and the rebels. So pretty much what ended up happening is everybody who committed crimes against the empire were pardoned. Judas and his men were pardoned. Because what they were doing, they were public enemy number 1. They were sitting back here and quote unquote terrorizing the Samaritans, terrorizing the Philistines, terrorizing the people of Gilead. That was the record that he had. Now, really, they were liberating. He was liberating Israelites, but from the Greek perspective, he was sitting back here, public enemy number 1. So all these war criminals were provided amnesty and freedom now. Okay, but they said, however, his terms also included destroying the walls of Jerusalem. So they had to sit back here and destroy certain walls that allowed the nations to come into the city unimpeded, so that there wouldn't be this annual standoff if their supplies were right. So don't forget, the Romans had a tough time breaking down those walls. What people don't understand is, we'll go into this down the line months later. You know, when the siege was happening, you know how the Romans got in, right? Does anybody know how the Romans got in at the end? We were sitting back here and building tunnels from under Jerusalem to come out and pop out and attack them. What ended up happening is the Most High just sat back here and allowed the ground to cave in. He allowed the ground to cave in, which broke down the walls, which gave the Romans a way in.
He opened the door.
The Most High did it. He allowed the ground to break down and broke down the walls for the Romans to get in. And then that was it. He did it. The Most High did it. Like the Most High is in control of everything. Just know that. So, however, his terms also include destroying the walls of Jerusalem, leaving the Temple Mount, acknowledging Syria as ruling Judea, and the Syrian Greeks appointing, meaning what they're saying is this, them opening the doors had to acknowledge Syria as the ruling leadership. When it says Syria, is it talking about Syrians? Some of the Greeks. They had to still acknowledge that they were vassals. We had to acknowledge we were vassals still, and to pay the Greeks their taxes. You can keep following your religion, but you're still subservient to the Greek way. And then the last way they broke us, they said in the Syrian Greeks appointing Alcimus as the high priest. So they didn't allow us to establish our own high priest. That's an important thing. We weren't allowed to establish our religious freedom. They put another puppet, pro-Greek,
Like they always do.
high priest in position of making all the decisions. So yeah, you can follow your laws, but you're still not running this place. We're going to put a puppet leader in power, and you got to keep your walls open. So really, did we really win out of that deal?
No.
We just were saved from what? Annihilation. So the $1 million question is this. When the Most High saves us from annihilation, it still should be called what? Mercy. So being saved from annihilation, but still having puppet governments rule us, and still being exposed to military domination is still the Most High's mercy. Because ultimately, like many scripture says, we deserved what? We deserved a worse judgment than to
We were given.
than to sit back here and just be able to follow the laws of the Most High in a country where we have no power in. Isn't that our condition now?
Yeah.
We want to complain about how jacked up our conditions are, when in actuality, we don't deserve these conditions we got. If we're going to stick to the Bible, because you would have a rebellious Jew say, man, Most High's not fair. We did all this fighting, all this warring, and all we got was the freedom of religion.
We could have been. We could have been.
I want to really let that drive. We were fighting for years for independence, risking our lives. Blood was shed, all to have freedom of religion. We're still under another country's rule. We still have puppet leaders or governors or high priests or preachers or senators or congressmen leading us that don't have our well-being in the forefront of their mind. And we should still be grateful. We don't like to hear that.
Well, that makes sense, because what we're showing is that if the Most High made us fight for freedom of religion, that means we didn't appreciate it when we had it.
Yep.
And that was a sign that the Most High said, okay, well, I'm going to take it from you. You didn't value it anyway, so I'm going to take it from you and make you fight for it, bleed for it, and die for it. So now when you get it back, you can be thankful for it.
But the funny thing is this. Listen, we fought and Judas fought just for freedom of religion. What he's saying is y'all as a nation still haven't earned your sovereignty. We still, with all that fighting, hadn't earned the ability to be self-sufficient and not under anybody's rule. Even back then. For your normal street speaker, what do they keep talking about? Where's our 40 acres and a mule? I mean, you heard that in the street speaking. How about the fact that we ain't earned the 40 acres and a mule? We haven't earned our sovereignty as a nation.
Or reparations.
We haven't earned reparations. Reparations comes from the Lord. We just read how the Most High put it in Esau's head to give us a break, to give us freedom of religion. If the Most High ain't put it in our head, his head, to give us more, it's because as a nation, we don't have enough spiritual currency to deserve it. That's what these stories explain. He says, you know what? You have earned the right to not get killed for your religious beliefs. That's what you've earned. You ain't earned nothing else. So when you're in your situation, in your life, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You should be thankful you're not in jail. You should be thankful you have the job you got. If you don't have the husband you want, it's because you haven't earned the right to get the husband that you want. If you don't have your husband's favor and love, it's because you haven't earned the Most High to have that husband's favor and love towards you. Whether it's a woman or a man. If I don't got the rib I want, I can say I haven't earned the rib I want. We always talk about oppression and what's unfair and what's not equal. The Most High got us exactly where we're supposed to be. You're struggling check to check because you're not responsible enough to get more. Everybody wants more and more and more. The Most High's not giving you more than what you deserve. The Most High, like, listen, man, I'm gonna sit back here and break your damn. Some Jerusalem is gonna have a big old hole in it because you ain't earned all protection.
Security.
You ain't earned security. You haven't earned independence, and when you wake up every day, you're gonna see this wall that's broken to remind you you're not independent because you haven't earned independence. What does the Most High use Esau to do with you? To remind you you ain't earned it. Everybody wants to say Esau's the devil. Esau does his devilish job.
It serves a purpose.
He serves a purpose to remind you you ain't done enough. Most High put it in Jupiter's mind to go inside and change him up. We can say, yes, politics and the white man's politics, and you can use all those black terms all you want. But who made it, who put it in Jupiter's mind and said, you know what, man, these niggas don't deserve this damn independence and this protection, this full spectrum protection. No, this deal ain't working unless this damn building is destroyed or broken down. This wall has to be partially destroyed or it's no deal. Or we're going to be out here and we're going to fight to the end. Either you're going to accept these conditions or we're not leaving.
It's like when you give a kid a car and he tears it up, but he wants you to fix it.
Nope.
Then you gotta say, no, you gotta drive with the bumper off.
Yep.
You gotta drive with the bumper off, dinged up, tore up.
You had this gnarly tear in your car, bro.
Yeah, you the one wasn't paying attention.
Yep.
Now you want me to fix your problems.
Yep.
No, you drive like that or catch the bus.
Yep. And that's fair and that's godly judgment. We're not going to get out of these circumstances as a nation unless we accept that we are in the condition we are because we earned it. That's the one issue I have with Israelites and how we teach. We teach too much like what we're going through is unfair. And we paint Esau like he's unjust. Now the scripture does say he's that he has overdid our punishment. So I'm not going to act like our punishment was and how he treated us was right, because it wasn't. But the fact that we don't have our own this and our own that and our own this, the Most High is not going to give us that sovereignty. On a sovereign level, a control level, he's not going to give us 40 acres and a mule. If we have 40 acres, you couldn't tell us what? Nothing. You couldn't tell the Jew nothing if we had 5 acres.
No. We have 40 acres.
You couldn't be told nothing.
Weed would be 39 acres. Marijuana would be 39 acres.
Yes.
And 1 acre would be 1 acre be tobacco, so you can roll the weed. We had 1 acre of tobacco, so you can roll the weed in. Cigarillos and White Owls and Optimals. So you got your Dutch. Your Dutches and your
you get that Philly blunts. How you get the Philly blunts out?
Yeah, 1 acre. Yeah, so you can pre-roll. You know what I'm saying? 1 acre of damn tobacco, so you can roll the weed, and 39 acres of weed. Then and a
500 square foot house out.
Yeah.
That's lawful. What's going on?
Talking about I'm about to hit the block up. I'm about to turn it up. You know, but that's our people, man. We wouldn't do right with it anyway. That's my whole point is we wouldn't do right with what the Most High would give us anyway.
Because it ain't like we're going to put the Most High first.
Right.
The Most High puts us in this perpetuation. We always talk about in class about how Esau's messed up. We will sit back here to show you how they systematically oppress all of us and keep us in perpetual debt slavery. We go into the whole gambit. But you know, the Most High puts it in him to do it. Just like the Most High puts it in him to let us off the damn burden.
That's a lot.
Even right now, he let us off of the physical back-breaking slavery and put us more into a debt slavery. Still slavery.
Which do you prefer?
But the most I sit back here, like I said a few weeks ago, you want to talk about injustice? You live in the 1920s. You live in the 1800s to see how justice was. It was worse back then. You don't believe me?
No running water.
Just read history. People were sitting back here 10 to 15 to a room. That's what life was.
A shack.
And you got kids. Yeah, you always endanger my privacy, Dad. You're always banging out of my room. You ain't got no room when you was in the 1920s, G. You don't even have a corner. What about my space? F your space. Your space ain't nothing. Your rights ain't nothing. What am I trying to explain? Our conditions are literally exactly what we deserve. If you can't accept that notice, you can't grow. You have earned every bad thing you got in your life. Every knock in your life, you've earned it.
Or inconvenience.
You've earned every inconvenience in your life. If you're in alternative school, guess what? You earned alternative school. It ain't the teachers don't like me. Every bad grade you got, guess what? You earned it. Every U or S unsatisfactory report cards you got, guess what? You earned it. I keep telling you, what's frustrating about kids, oh, my teacher don't like me. What? Why doesn't your teacher like you? Maybe you're a jerk. I want to say a different word. Maybe you're a horrible student.
Maybe you talk in class.
Which makes you a horrible student. Maybe you're a horrible student and your teacher doesn't like the fact that you're a horrible student.
Maybe you use the bathroom too much.
Maybe you laugh and you joke and you clown around too much. Which makes you a bad student. Which makes the teacher think you're a bad kid.
They just hating on me.
Okay. All a teacher does is, listen, if you're not going to respect me in class, why should I like you? Why should the teacher like you if you don't respect them in class? If you don't respect their profession, why should they respect you? Then the parent got to come out of school and say, well, little Johnny, a little Hebrew word brother, he's really a good kid. But you got to sit back and look past all the disrespect. Look past the disrespect. Look past the temper tantrums and see he's a poor little boy that needs more attention. That's cap. Why does the teacher got to go through all those hoops to pull out the best in your kid? Why can't your kid just have good behavior? Why can't your child just do his job or her job? Why can't they just do their assignment when they do it?
Because they hating on me.
And that's when that victim complex starts. This person doesn't like me. This person is picking on me. Or maybe you're getting treated like crap because you treat others like crap. And this is what people have to learn about life at an early age.
If not, you get older, you're going to say it's the system.
And my boss is tripping on me. But before it was your boss, it was your teacher. It was your coach. Everybody's out to get you? No, you just got negative in you and you refuse to follow and you refuse to be obedient. Why can't you accept that about yourself? Why am I going in there? Because there's young people in the audience. That's the one reason I'm going there. But two, it starts at your youth as trying to make a justification for poor behavior.
Oh, it's not.
This teacher's got a problem because he's an Edomite. Oh, no, stop. Being an Edomite has nothing to do with your disrespect.
He would apply for a Catholic.
And you're not turning in your assignments on time.
He purposely put an application in at that community school.
Whatever.
You know what he was getting into.
Exactly. And all you got to do is your damn job. Because every time I hear about kids with bad behavior, their work never gets turned in on time. They don't. Their assignments aren't legitimate. They're always failing their classes.
They get
But
bad
the
grades.
teacher got a problem with me? He's always talking in class. But it's the teacher's fault? Is it really the teacher's fault? No, it's not. It's your fault. But until people start realizing they're the problem, they can't get fixed. And their conditions are a direct connection to their disobedience. And this is where we're at here. These Greeks just left. They put another Greek, a black Greek puppet, at the top and the high priesthood. That probably won't even be there at the temple doing the priestly work, because he's about Greek money. So he ain't gonna be at the high priest doing no priest stuff. It's gonna be other priests doing the work while he's in the citadel smiling.
He's an overseer
At the gym watching them boys. That's where he gonna be at. But what we got is a chance to go and serve the Most High without getting sweated. Because remember, Judas had to fight Menelaus' men because they were assaulting people going to the temple to sacrifice.
Yep.
And before that, anybody who believed in the Most High was getting killed and persecuted and tortured. So it was a great win for the nation. But you got to put these wins in context so that you can learn how the Most High thinks. Because when we think about the Most High blessing us, we think about having things. We think about money and freedom and comforts and houses. And I'm going to have my own lots and land and money and having things. That's not an example of the Most High's mercy.
because the Most High said, if you found faithful over a few things, He'll make you rule over much. Have you been faithful over the cottage that you have before you get a kingdom?
God.
Have you been faithful over the room you have before you get a house?
God.
Have you been faithful over your friendships before you get a relationship?
Exactly.
So it's the Most High looks at not just giving us what we want, but have you earned it based upon your level of responsibility in your day-to-day work?
Listen, can you respect a man before you get a man? I was in a council a few days ago. You know, most women don't know how to do. Most women lack the ability to have a common respect for the man that's in their corner. Most women don't even know how to properly talk to a man to make a man feel good about being a man. Do you not realize that is the most important thing a woman can do in a relationship? Is to make him feel respected. I would argue that's more important than the physical. If a woman does not learn how to make a man feel important and not always feel that he is the problem all the time, if a woman learns how to do that, most marriages will be sustained. But are women taught that at a young age? To make a man feel with your words that he is valued and important and needed and appreciated? Because nowadays, what most women do, their husband is the reason why everything is bad in their life. Is that not the reality of things? If I'm having a bad day, it's my husband's fault. If the Most High is not blessing me, it's my husband's fault.
House ain't clean enough.
It's my fault. That is why one of the number one reasons why relationships are always tense. Why are women supposed to study? Because they're supposed to learn to have peace in what the Most High has given them, so that they won't tear down the blessing that they gave them. It's the same thing with men. We have to learn to sit back here and appreciate the blessing the Most High gave them. We're not supposed to be attacking our women every 5 minutes. But for women, I'm just using it for women. If women don't learn how to talk and have proper respect for the person that the Most High gave them, why would they give another one after the first one left? Then, why did the guy leave in the first place? The question is this. I don't advocate violence for men. Never going to say that. But why do men get violent? I don't advocate violence. But what did you do to make a man want to get violent to you? You gonna sit back here like you was the China woman walking with her feet all like this, saying yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, and he beat you? That's what happened?
No.
That's the narrative you gonna give? You gonna be like this? Yes sir, yes sir. Don't hit. Why are you hitting me? I didn't do anything to you. That's what happened? That's how you gonna paint it? Nope. Were you disrespectful? Did you demasculate him with your words? Did you disrespect him? Did you make him feel less of a man? If you do, and if you did, this is why he left. Do you demoralize him and tear him down as a person? But you expect him to love you and appreciate you and work with you and deal with you? Do you really think that's how it goes? Oh, because I sit back here and I'll be physical with you after I demasculate you, you got to appreciate the love that I bring to the table? No thanks. I'll pass. It ain't that good. It ain't that special. It really isn't. I know everybody thinks they are, but they're not.
I make you feel good, don't I?
No. Because if your words aren't right, if you don't know how to talk to somebody else, everything else diminishes times 5. Use those numbers that we have brains out. It all diminishes. I'm going to say times 7 because it's a complete diminishment. That's what people don't get. And this is what women I don't think are taught enough at a young age. You can say I keep it real all damn day you want. You keep keeping it real and be alone keeping it real. Or what you're going to do is get a person that matches and mirrors you. You want to play the game? I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play the game, get what I want and leave. This is why men leave also. Men leave because who wants to be around a dragon all day long? Who wants to be around a person who demoralizes people with their words all day long? Why am I going through this? I'm trying to double back and explain that our conditions are because of our actions. So if men keep leaving you, maybe it's because you too have a part in this destructive relationship.
I just want to get a verse on that. Proverbs 31, verse 26.
Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 26. Strength and honor are her clothing.
Go ahead. Well, it says strength and honor are her clothing. It's strength and honor. Honor is respect.
Yep.
That's what honor is. Honor is respect. She dresses herself with respect. That's the clothes she has on is respect. Mm-hmm. She knows how to wear respect. Read on.
And she shall rejoice in time to come.
Read on.
She openeth her mouth.
It says when she speak, because she's wearing the clothes of respect. When she speaks, when she opens her mouth, read on.
She openeth her mouth with wisdom.
And how do you know it's wisdom? What is the nature and the context and the substance of a conversation? Read on.
And in her tongue is the law of kindness.
What's in her tongue?
The law of kindness.
So when she's speaking, what is the one element that stands out about her?
Kindness.
Kindness.
Can I say something on that point? Real quick. Israel's going to have to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. Can you be kind and not get your way? Can you be kind and respect your man, even if you don't agree with him? Because that's the full test. If you're getting what you want, who isn't going to be respectful? If you're getting what you wanted to do, I love my husband. He just loves me so much. It's easy to sit back and respect the person that's giving you what you want. But when does the dishonor kick in? When I don't get what I want,
yep.
Or when I'm being criticized about something that I damn well should be getting criticized about. Then all of a sudden, are you clothed with honor? Are you clothed with kindness? Heck no. But then you expect a man to deal with you when he can't tell you something you got to fix, and whenever he disagrees with you, you don't honor him. But you expect him to deal with that? And then you're looking for this Prince Charming that's going to sit back here and make you the priority, and you don't got to change nothing about you. You don't have to learn to respect and honor. You don't got to make adjustments, but you want this perfect TV model that works hard and slaves and can teach you. I just want a man that can teach me. Do you? You want a person that can teach you how much you got to change? No, you don't. You want somebody to teach you about Moses and teach you some songs. That's what you want to hear. You don't hear that. I'm gonna teach you about how you got to change with society. Then all of a sudden, the disrespect and the dishonor kicks in. I'm sorry. I just want to bring that out. I just want to bring about people are clothed with kindness when they get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, when they don't get what they want, there's no kindness.
It disappears.
It disappears.
But that's what makes this woman special, is that she knows how to speak with gentleness.
Yep.
She don't got the mouth of a dragon.
Yep.
And this is why it says, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" These are part of her virtues.
Yep.
Is explaining her virtue. She knows how to have gentleness in her speech. So then it's not always this, I'm tearing you down and I'm lacerating you like a whip every time I open my mouth.
And then you lacerate a man and you take his legs from him and you destroy his spirit, but he better not hit you. And if he says one derogatory word with you, it's either waterworks, or it's a fight, or it's a physical. It gets physical, or it's a bunch of negative words being thrown back and forth.
And don't let the least be in your name, because
you get out there.
You can leave. You don't like what I'm saying? You can go.
But then you'll say that they say, "Well, no, come back." So now I got this pressure of you. Whenever you feel like you can kick me out over my head.
Yeah.
Let's think about the after effect. You sit back here. You can get out of here. I got my own house. I got my own car. Something. I'm a bad broad. You can throw that out there all you want. And then you guys make up. What about the next day? This guy looking like, damn, bro, this woman's going to sit back here. If I don't give her what she wants, I'm out in these streets. So then you'll sit back and say these dirty words. And then, once he sits back here and stacks his money up and bounces, all men are cruel. I can't trust men. You give them your heart and they let you down. Is it that? Or who wants to sit back here and be threatened to get kicked out whenever I disagree with you? And don't sit back here and act like, oh, y'all just don't want a strong woman. No, I don't. Nobody wants a proud woman. And a woman that lacks kindness and humility. Nobody wants that. I'm sorry.
No, you got the point. I was just strengthening the point. The fact that there are certain things that make this woman stand out, and that are the Most High calls virtues, that she knows how to possess. So it would behoove me, it would be fit for me to learn what these virtues are, put them in practice, then ask the Lord to bless me with something responsible.
Yes.
Or something that's worth having.
You know what you got to do first?
You fix the interior. They tell you even before you drive a car. They tell you it's good to go study and have a basic knowledge of automobiles.
Yep.
They said it's good to at least read the manual. Even the car salesman, if he's a good car salesman, he'll tell you to read the policy manual of the vehicle. So if the battery goes out, or how to check your oil, or how to even use the radio, or how to use the AC, how to use the windshield wipers. Where's the windshield wipers located? How to change the air filter. You don't just supposed to get behind the wheel and start driving and think you'll just fix it as you go. You got to have a working knowledge of how to operate this vehicle. You know, it's a responsibility. Mm-hmm. But what we won't do, we'll jump into a relationship without the manual.
You know what the manual is?
And figure it out as we go.
You know what the manual is? If you can't respect your mom and your daddy, how you gonna respect the husband? If you can't respect your mother and your father, you think you're gonna respect a man that you don't know? It ain't gonna happen. Because you know your mama got your back and your daddy got your back. If you can't respect them, that means you don't know the manual of how to follow and be obedient. If you can't follow your teacher, if it's also a mom and dad, and then if you can't follow your teacher, you think you're going to follow the next authority figure? You can't.
I don't got no respect.
Then how do you expect to keep a person? Who in the hell in their right mind is going to love somebody who doesn't respect them? How do you think this works? What cartoon have you watched? Or what social media app or TikTok statement or Instagram have you heard to tell you something? Somebody's going to stick with you because you give them sex.
Cardi B.
That's why cats be bouncing on them too.
Yeah.
That's why Stephon Diggs is out of there, bro. Stephon Diggs, I'm a co-parent with you.
And there'll be another one.
I had a little fun. I'll co-parent with you.
And there'll be another.
Oh, he's already.
But why do you think Offset is sitting back here and had so many women after her? I thought she was the baddest one ever. So you really think Offset didn't see no problems in the house? You think Offset's just a bad guy?
Stephon Diggs.
Offset's like looking at this person like, damn, bro. Yeah, you gave me some money for my birthday, but you are a dragon at the house. And let me get the hell out of here and go out and find something else that will make me feel like a man. That is the man. Why do men always cheat on their women? Because they don't get respect at home. It's simple. Women will give their bodies and their flesh, but will not give a man respect and wonder why you don't stay. I'm going to say this. A man might leave even if you respect him, but I tell you what, he'll really think about it. He'll really think about it if the other side is worth it.
You know, sometimes he makes a young man mistake.
Yes.
Where then he don't realize how good he got it until it's gone.
Yep.
Then he be like trying to make a comeback.
Yep.
I didn't realize how good it was at home.
But you know how good it was? It was the respect that was good. That's what was good. You can always find the other thing. Just find a club and wait till 2 o'clock. You'll find something.
You know another word.
I was being honest with you. If we're going to be completely honest,
you know another
wait
word
till 2:30.
You know what another word respect is? Do they follow what I say? Can you follow? Because that's something that you'll find that people don't know how to do. They don't know how to follow. They have their own interpretation of what it means to follow.
Following and just with your words, are you demoralizing with your words? I'll tell a person, did you know how destructive those words were? You're like this. No. While you're keeping it real, you're destroying the relationship with your man. Because he might not say, those are the most hurtful words you can ever say to me. He ain't going to say that. He's just going to shut down. You know, why are you shutting down? Because you're a beast. And what is a man going to do? If he puts hands on you, he's a bad guy, which he is. If he shuts down, you're not emotionally there with me. You see how you put a person through an impossible...
Where's your mind at?
You put him in an impossible situation. I want to put my hands on you because you're disrespectful. I want to be a gentleman, though, so I don't do that. So either I'm going to physically leave this house and get away from you because you're disgusting to me, and the thought of you disgusts me, or I'm going to sit here and be in the house, but be fishing somewhere mentally.
Emotionally.
Why are you not here? How come you're not sitting back here with me? How come you're somewhere else? Because I'd rather be somewhere than deal with you. Who wants to be around a person who is this destructive? Where is the reward in this? Am I lying? But nobody wants to deal with that. A woman has a responsibility to digest whatever suffering she's going through and still not disrespect her husband. Isn't that what we teach women? You know, it goes to men too. That's why men in the camp are always exposed, because they don't have enough common discipline to maintain respect for the person over them that they disagree with. Men have the same problem. But this is the epidemic in the nation, which is why we don't deserve our sovereignty. Women deserve to be alone and single parents. You deserve it. And maybe once you learn respect and humility and appreciation, the Most High will give you somebody to give you the choice to respect it. Because the man that left, he might have had a problem or two, like every man does. But are you going to choose the problems or focus on the good? And if you can't focus on the good, the other guy's going to leave too. Because there's always going to be a flaw in a man. But do you have enough humility to see the good and appreciate the good? Because he don't got to be there. Because you know what? And that's why the people leave, because they don't want to be there no more. Yes, sir.
Another thing that I've noticed when it comes down to how people in relationships, nobody focuses on the healing.
Yeah. You know why? Because of the hardness of your heart. It's no deeper than that. People can't accept the fact that this fantasy that I got in my head about what I deserve didn't come to fruition. Social media provides that fantasy. Television, TikTok, Instagram, if you're older, head Facebook. if these images of what I think should be reality don't become reality, then I tear down the only person that gives a damn.
Or your friends tell you that too.
Yeah.
Oh, you deserve the best. You deserve the best that life has to give
So
you.
then you go ahead and be alone for 15 years to see how that goes. Not knocking men and women, but you know what? After 15 years of being alone, you think somebody going, are you the top shelf choice? When you start adding more, when you're eating sugars and carbs and gaining weight, are you the top of the food chain now? I'm just keeping it very real. These are the thoughts you should have before you tear down the good thing you got. Men and women. There's always a younger model.
Or
right or wrong.
Or people would just say that.
Who don't want the younger version?
Yeah.
Then what do you got? What do you bring to the table that makes the person say, man, this version, this is vintage. Or this is a scrap. This is a piece of scrap metal. What, are you vintage or are you scrap metal? It's all predicated on your humility and your ability to talk to a person and make a person feel loved and respected. I don't give a damn what you cook and how good you cook. If you can't make a man feel appreciated, you're no good.
Or you're going to run into an angler. An angler is somebody that does something for sport.
I know.
You don't get an angler.
Yeah, he's
An angler just he throw the rod in the pool.
Yeah.
You're thinking marriage, relationship. He thinking fun, temporary entertainment.
And, but when you always say, oh man, those other dudes that left you, man, that doesn't appreciate the beautiful person that you are.
Yeah.
And you don't realize you're such a sucker for attention. You're getting gassed up. And then when he gets what he wants, all of a sudden he don't call no more.
Yeah, well, he throw you back in the water. Because it wasn't about...
It was for sport. He was angling for sport.
It was for sport. It wasn't about taking you home, keeping you...
Well, what he says, this fish was 7 pounds. He did a good job. Just throw it back in the water.
He pull it out the water. He weigh it. He take a picture of it. He measure it. He got the tape measure on it. Show it to his buddies. Look what I caught. You ain't going to believe what I got. And then throw that thing back in the water.
Yes, it is.
If it ain't sufficient,
Yeah.
man, you gonna meet an angler, and that's all he's doing is it's for sport.
Yeah. And then you get mad that anglers take advantage of it.
Sports.
Yeah.
But you don't realize, why is the angler going to be an angler? Because he knows what he saw already. He knows it's a game.
Because he's not in it for substance. He ain't taking that fish was for fun.
And now listen. The angler will call it game. But you know what also is game? I want a man who's going to love me, respect me, but I don't got to respect him back. That's game too. That's bad game. That's a hustle. I want a man that love me and appreciate me and respect me and take care of me, but I won't do the same to him. That's game.
Yep.
That's the worst thing in the world to do.
It's called being a one-way person.
That's game. Jake understands game. I can sit back here, you got to make all these changes, but I don't got to change nothing. And when I put it in line to change, you don't love me and you don't respect me. That's game. So you know when the angler sees game, says a game is, I see that you're sitting back here pushing one way, but you're not that person. And I'm gonna give you the same thing then.
Yep.
That's why anglers come to you. I don't know. I don't even know why we got into this.
Mystery solved.
Well, no, we got into it because what we're showing
But we're
is
here now.
Israel got the terms and conditions that they asked for by just having by just getting religious freedom, not total control.
Yes.
And
There we go. We're back to
sovereignty.
it. Yes.
They didn't get sovereignty. They got the ability just to serve the Lord.
You got the ability to walk 50 steps up to the temple out.
Yeah.
Kill your animal out. You got the freedom to walk 10 paces up the street with the open damn wall.
Yeah.
An exposed wall and a corrupt alchemist who's high priest who wasn't from the proper Levitical line to run your government. Because as a nation, you still don't want to serve me. You're still not happy putting me first. Half of y'all in Judas' army left and bounced on me. Think about that. More than half the army bounced on God. And we should deserve all these blessings?
That's crazy.
God.
You know, we get the service.
Exactly, sis. But then from the angler and the two anglers aren't on the same page because one angler thinks that they're right and justified in angling. And the other angler, the man, knows this game. But the woman angler thinks she's right and thinks it should be that way. So one angler is in a delusional state, and the man angler accepts what it is. This is his fun. This is his make-believe.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take you out on a vacation, get what I want, and go to something else. That's the smart angler.
It wasn't
This is temporary.
It wasn't no real term. Your kids gonna become my kids.
Nope. But I'm going to throw that out there
Yeah,
to get what I want and then bounce.
I love the babies.
Yeah, right. And he's like, hey, you just shake the little rock. I'll forget what I want later. Put them kids down.
Catch, man. Throw the football. Catch, man. Open your hands, man. We're gonna go play catch with the young man. We're gonna have fun today. I got 2 SeaWorld tickets.
Yeah, exactly. This is all facts. If we're gonna sit back here and be honest, we're trying to keep it real. So once again, we earned the right to get 15 paces to the temple because the majority of Israel quit on the Lord. It was only Judas and a handful of people that held it into the end. Why would the Most High reward the nation with sovereignty? So we're in America. We're not getting lynched. That was our blessing. I'm just not going to get you lynched no more.
Yeah.
The blessing is you have the freedom to choose the path to please me now. That's your freedom. You don't deserve your own military. We don't deserve our own military. We don't deserve all this extra stuff. You deserve, okay, to be able to get taught the scriptures and make a decision to serve me in a kingdom that's not yours, with gates that are open, with leaders that don't have your back. That's what our works earned back in the time of the Greeks, and that's what our works earn now. And the quicker we can accept those conditions, now we can start growing and changing. Versus lying about our condition and how unfair our condition is. The revolutionist Israelite always complains about how messed up Esau's made it.
Well, that's the easy complaint.
That's what a lot of 5-letter camps do, or 4-letter camps do. We want to talk about how the atrocities. Cool. But the Most High put it in that spirit of the man to commit the atrocities. Why don't you see that it's actually easier, and the Most High has given us more mercy now than ever? How come nobody teaches that? How come nobody teaches the Most High has given us more mercy and less threat of death and less threat and fear hovering over our head? And you know, what's the benefit of eliminating that fear? Now we can study. Now we can clearly give our mind to the Lord. Because he's taken that fear off our head.
You know, when it was slavery 6 days a week, from 4 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, we look forward to that Sunday morning.
Kinda.
Because that's all. Even though that's all they gave us, we'll be there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Sunday morning. We love the Lord on that one day off that we had.
Yep.
But now we ain't got no whips cracking on our back.
He's given us more time to commit to him, and we've gotten worse. The more pressure has been alleviated from us.
That exactly.
That's my point. So he's actually giving us more mercy.
Our songs were better.
God,
Our songs were very
it's
spiritual.
all spirit.
Man, I remember I read a book about this slave master. He said that he would go behind the slave shack and listen to the slaves sing songs to God because they were so oppressed. And this is a slave master. This is a white man would go listen to the songs of his slaves and the cries of his slaves to the Lord and the passion behind their songs, and it would make him cry. This is a white man said, man, he would cry behind the songs, just the songs and the music and the passion behind their songs, listening to the slaves cry out to the Lord. It made a white slave master cry. But we're not singing songs like that now, and we're not even under half the conditions that we was under back then. The Lord is less important
Because we don't appreciate the mercies he gives us. Because the Most High's idea of mercy is not our idea of mercy. And the quicker we can understand the mercies, what real mercy is with the Lord, the easier it's going to be for us to operate and please the Heavenly Father. I think that is so important to digest. because, and even the peace deal that the Most High gave us. If you look at it from a rational position, we really took an L. A lot of blood was shed just to sit back and get one thing from a carnal mind. And then Alcimus put this guy as whore. You're going to read about this guy in the next chapter. Alcimus was just as bad as Menelaus. He was a pro-Greek shill, implant. And you got to sit back here and be up under him. So all we worked for was to get the temple cleaned up and the choice to freely go to the temple. But outside of that, it's still pressure and stress and sadness and no freedom. But if you look at it from the Most High's perspective, as a nation, this is what you deserve. As a people, this is what your cumulative works have brought forth in your results. You've earned this. You haven't earned sovereignty because you know what? There's no unity amongst the body. This is why Israel now, we can forget about us coming together. You forget me. There's a 1,000 camps with 1,000 different ideologies. You think we're going to be able to come together? That's laughable. So, we get what we deserve as a nation.
The conditions would have to be extreme enough.
Yes. To be able to let go of their opinions.
Right.
And their pride and their biases and their flesh. And even then, we couldn't let go of it.
It's like in prison. When you go to prison,
You better pick the black side or the Hispanic side or Edomite side.
Yeah, prison forces you to make that choice.
Listen, I'm on the black side. Let me go to the black side. Let me go over here at. You better make a choice. Or you can forget it. Hey guys, can we all just get along? Okay, bro.
I got neutral gang.
No, bro. You better pick a set. Or when you got the racist fight, you can talk all that unity shit all you want. You better throw hands with somebody on some side. When Issachar got on boots out, you better do something out. I don't know if you ever saw that scene where it showed this guy. It says, Issachar got on boots out. It's not Issachar. I don't want to say the derogatory name. But when Issachar had boots on in jail, just know it was going to be a prison fight out. It was a prison riot out. Another story. What is the Shamshir one saying? Pick a side. But Israel's too comfortable. There's no side to pick. But we want to cry and complain about conditions. We are where we're exactly supposed to be because of our works. If we figure that out, we've got half of the issue fixed. Anyway, give me verse. I think we did 2 Maccabees 13. Let's go to Josephus, book 12, chapter 9, paragraph 7.
Antiquity of the Jews, book 12, chapter 9, paragraph 7, line 382, page 331. Accordingly, the king sent to Judas and to those that were with him, and promised to give them peace.
Now we're besieged with him. You didn't get besieged? Okay, my book might have it, and yours not. Go paragraph 7 again.
Paragraph 7. Accordingly, the king sent to Judas and to those that were with him, and promised to give them peace, and to permit them to make use of and live according to the laws of their fathers.
He didn't promise nothing else. I will let you serve your God. So when we're in captivity, in any country, the only promise was our freedom to sit back here and follow the laws. Did he promise that the black man would get a job over a Greek man? Did he promise that the pro-Greek Jew would get equal rights to the Jew that's pro-Israel? He didn't promise that. He didn't promise equal rights. He didn't promise you're going to be on the same playing field as the Edomite nation. He says you'll be able to sit back here and follow your God. That's it. So why are we tripping that a pro-American person that's an Israelite will get an advantage over us? Or an Edomite will get an advantage over us? This is not our kingdom. In a scenario where we are the subservient nation, can we just be happy and appreciative that we're not destroyed? And that we have a chance to serve the Most High and please Him with gladness and joyfulness of heart? It was just like when the first wave of Israelites was sent to Babylon. And Jeremiah wrote a letter to Israel in Babylon and said, rejoice, y'all.
Yep.
Plant your vineyards. Have your children. Your children, their generation will be able to come back to Israel. Rejoice.
But you got to live it out, though.
He didn't focus on the other side. He says, rejoice.
Yeah.
Plant your vineyards, live your life over there, and your children will have a chance of redemption.
Well, you got to ask yourself, what does that mean for me right now?
Forget your life. So your life is over, son. And this is why the priest and the leadership in Israel said, don't write that letter. Don't send that letter to Jerusalem, to Babylon. You're not allowed to send that letter. You're going to demoralize the people. And he sent the letter anyway. How dare you sit back here and demoralize people?
People going to say, well, what about us?
Shit. You messed up.
Be happy.
Be happy that you're not dead. Be happy that you're not wiped off the map. Be happy that you're able to have enough children so that they have a chance at salvation again. That is God's mercy. This is why you got to read and study. Our version of mercy always has us win at the end.
Yeah.
Our version of mercy, you're doing this, yeah! It worked out for me.
I get to witness the fall of my enemy.
Con! How about, listen, think about this. We're going to read in 2 chapters. Judas dies. Without the fanfare. Without the complete victory of the nation. He dies as being a vassal in another man's country. For all of his valiant effort, he died a martyr. The end. Do you think he died at the point where he hoped his nation was going to be when he died? Do you think that he thought that hopefully his works will get there, they'll be on top before he passes? Don't you think he thought that? He didn't get what he wanted. Did it taint his works and his effort? No, it didn't. He did a great work, but he didn't get what he wanted.
Moses
died
without seeing the promise.
That's my point. And that's what we're going to go into in a few weeks about Moses. And all these great men still didn't get what they wanted. But you think you will get what you want? You think your story is going to be a storybook? Like your works have earned some type of an honor that the greatest of our nation didn't get? Who the hell do you think you are? Who do you think you are if Moses didn't get it? If Judas didn't get it? You see how inflated we are? And what we think we are, and what we think we deserve? We are tripping. What our versions of mercy is? The Most High's mercy is that you ain't dead yet. And that you ain't put to death for the wickedness that you continue to do on a daily basis. That's mercy. We keep driving this point because that's the only way you're going to start working yourself out of this spiritual rut you're in. You got to be reminded that you deserve way worse than what you got. That man leaving you was the least of what it could have been. That man being physical with you, if he did, was the least of what it should have been. You being in the situation in your life is the best it could have been. It should have been way worse than what you got in your life. For your rebellion, for your wickedness, for your stubbornness. Let's continue in Josephus. So, the deal was to permit them to make use of and live according to the laws of their fathers. Read on.
And live according to the laws of their fathers. And they gladly received his proposal.
Oh yeah, they took that deal. They said, I'll buy that for $1. Because that's better than sitting back here and being killed to go to the temple. But at least at this particular time, we were a little more gracious than now. Israel will be pouting and complaining like crazy if we were getting deals like this now. We'd be losing our mind. If all I get to do is go and serve God, that's all? That's whack. That's not fair. Get my point? But you talk to them slaves back in the day, they couldn't even read the Bible. They'd get killed. They would have took that deal and been glad about it. It just shows you how ungrateful we are. And I think this was the purpose behind propaganda and media in the first place, is to create an ungrateful nation of people. To create people that don't appreciate what the Most High has given them.
You engineer people that are depraved spiritually.
And they're unappreciative.
Yeah.
Not depraved, but unappreciative. Because, listen, I keep saying, you can talk about the plight of the black man in the 2020s or the 1990s and the 80s. I don't give a damn how bad it is. Rodney King got beat. That was horrible. That happened every day in the 70s without it being shown on TV. And in the 60s and in the 50s. And in the 40s, they were getting killed and lynched 40s and 50s. Early 60s. So you think Rodney King was the worst? No, it wasn't. It's been getting progressively better.
Rodney King wasn't even the first guy that got beat in L.A.
That's why, listen, my parents, people were getting, that happened all the time in L.A.
It just
happened to be somebody was videotaping.
Somebody had a home video recorder.
That was all the time. They were getting beat to death.
Yep.
They weren't saying, oh, can't we all just get along? He couldn't say that afterwards. He was lucky to say that. What am I saying? Am I being pro-Edomite? Hell no. I'm not talking Republican talk. I'm just being honest about our condition.
And they still let the 4 police officers scot-free.
Yeah.
Still got off with no charges, even with the video evidence.
The only difference was when the black dude got killed without the camera, there was no paperwork.
Yeah.
He resisted arrest. Yeah.
And
He was resisted arrest. He put his hands, hit me in the arm. We had to kill him.
We told him, stop.
Okay, no problem. That's it. That's all it was. This is less paperwork.
and Rodney King died.
Down the line, no, that was years
No,
ago.
I don't know, but once he got his money, he ended up drowning in his own backyard.
Maybe.
And he can swim. It's a strange death. You get your money. You get your money, and then you drown in your backyard.
The question is who got the money after that. That's the real. That's how you find out. For all your sleuths out there, go find out what the funds transferred to, and you'll know who killed them. Anyway, what are we trying to say? All we're trying to say through this scenario, and we're trying to drive the point. Israel is so sad and downtrodden about their conditions. We don't take the time to be appreciative for what the Most High has given us. And for the blessings the Most High has given us. How He daily loads us with good and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
If we can learn and have a true projection and understanding of what mercy looks like, we could thrive. If we understand what the Most High's mercy really looks like. The fact that we weren't put to death, and the fact that we weren't annihilated. Because don't forget, those were the stakes when this thing started. Remember, Antiochus wanted to wipe us out as a nation. Wipe us out as a nation and get our laws back and get our temple back. That's what we earned. The end.
You know, we're better servants when our back is against the wall.
I know. When we have this taskmaster on our tail, that's when we sit back here and we behave better. That's what we don't want to talk about.
We're more godly.
Yeah.
We're more godly when there's an overseer.
Bro, I don't know what else to say.
And we forget, man. You know, it says at a time of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. At a time of affliction, there's a forgetfulness of prosperity. We're very short-minded when it comes to how good the Most High really is. You know, when you can feed your kids just about whatever they want, and they have one meal, a struggle meal. I'm gonna call it a struggle meal. A struggle meal is just something you have to whip up. You know, some potatoes, taco meat with no tacos. You know what I'm saying? Just something you have to just whip up.
You better sit back and toast. Get some toast and honey. Toast, butter, and honey.
Even if it's just some
or some
noodles.
syrup, or it's toast, butter, and some syrup. You better get going. That's it, bro.
And then the kids are mad. You've had 6 good meals. You had one meal that was just thrown together because it was a goulash.
Or how about, Dad? You didn't make my breakfast in time.
Yeah.
That's unfair, Dad. You don't love me, Dad.
Yeah, just one little struggle.
But for the fact that this dude made you breakfast, get off your ass and make some cereal.
I don't like oatmeal.
Then you ain't eating. I said, my kid, listen, bro, you gonna have peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and jelly? What do you want?
Jelly.
I don't want to tell you, my dude. You ain't getting nothing else. So either you eat it or you don't eat nothing. I don't know. Listen, there's nothing else to talk about. I'm not going to Wendy's to get you a 4 for $4 today. That's not happening. I don't got 5 4 for $4s in my pocket right now. So I'm gonna get you gonna get this bread and get this PBJ. Oh, you want smooth? You want the smooth peanut butter jelly? Cool. You gonna get smooth, and you know, I'm sorry, there's not enough strawberry preserves. You know, black ones, you always say preserves.
Yeah.
You gonna get that strawberry preserves, then you gonna get that grape jelly. Not Welch's grape. You don't get HEB grape. It's a different, it don't taste the same. I don't care, it don't taste the same, but you better take it and be okay with it.
It has a lot of pectin in it.
How do you know what that is? Pectin?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But our people, you get one taste of Chipotle, they think they can get Chipotle every day.
Brother.
That's not happening. Chipotle was a payday meal.
Kinda.
You know what I'm saying? That was for payday.
And then I gotta sit back here and be guilt shamed by my kids because you ain't getting fine dining every day. Forget you. I don't give a damn if you're my kids. You want to sit back and do what you got. And then when you start bringing money into the house, you can get what you want.
Right.
But if you ain't working, I want to tell you.
Oh, there's just silent protests. I'm not eating that.
Well, I'm asking, don't eat a damn thing. Don't eat a damn thing. You don't listen. If you're tripping on when I make you breakfast, I won't make you breakfast next week. That's the answer. I won't make you breakfast until you are appreciative for these soggy frosted flakes you eating right now. Or if I really want to get you, I'm going to get you Special K damn frosted flakes with no sugar. You eat that.
They just say flakes.
Flakes. Yeah, or is this corn flakes? Corn flakes. It's corn flakes with no sugar. That's what I'm saying. You eat corn flakes. You ain't getting no sugar. You ain't getting no reward. Who the hell do you think you are? Listen, bro, I don't give a damn. If you want to, listen, this is how the Most High works. If you don't appreciate this, I'm going to make it worse. You want to sit back here and argue about turkey bacon and eggs? Then you won't have turkey bacon and eggs. And I don't give a damn about your protest. You can storm upstairs all you want. You can do the kitchen's closed. Cause you ain't gonna be like Scooby-Doo walking downstairs like this, like trying to sit back here at nighttime to get you snacks. I'll lock the damn kitchen up.
Chicken again?
Well, I'm gonna say this, bro.
Chicken again.
Chicken again?
That's it?
You don't have to eat it. You don't have to eat it.
I hear this.
I'm like, this is Russia, G. I don't give a damn. This is Russia in my house, I. This is communism. You ain't getting what you want, I. I'm gonna tell you.
You got your rations.
This is your damn rations.
This is your rations.
This is Mother Russia. This is a sickle and a hammer. You ain't getting nothing but what we give you.
And you better eat it.
Or you can go.
You better eat it quick too. Somebody else gonna eat it.
That's what I'm saying.
You better eat it quick.
That's what I'm saying. You better be happy with this one biscuit you getting.
Because
that biscuit will get taken.
You always got one kid that'll eat it no matter what. You always want to say, you don't want it, I'll take it.
Yeah. Listen, bro. Listen, I'm gonna say this. If you want to run away, you go run away and see how things go. You think it's gonna be easier somewhere else?
Oh, I want to spend a night at Tom's house.
No. You ain't going to Tom's.
They got food at their house.
I'll tell you. Listen, that ain't happening. You're gonna appreciate this, or you won't go to sleep hungry. Now listen,
Well,
I have no guilt.
The Most High do
There is no guilt when these conditions set
as
up.
adults. The Most High do the same thing.
That's my point.
It's not just for kids. We're angling this on children, but
Because
it's not,
grown Israelites are children.
right? Because men and women still pout as adults. We still pout and throw a fit because we don't got what we think we deserve or work for or earn, or we don't think the Most High has given us our due fair share of the piece of the pie because of what somebody else got. And when you get older, that mentality starts as a child. And if it's not fixed, if it's not repaired, you grow into an adult with a spoiled attitude, with a spoiled mentality. Where as an adult, you don't like the car you got. Not thankful the fact that you got a car. But you complain on the fact that it's not the newest model. Or the fact that I got a cell phone, but that my cell phone is old. I got an old phone. It's a flip phone. Because we hear that too. I got an old phone. I got a flip phone. I got a teenager. I got a flip phone. All my friends got touch screens. I said, can you make a phone call? Can you text? Then you got communication, because that's what it's for. It's not about having the fancy phones. They're going to break anyway. Or, in a year or two, that model is going to be outdated. Why do you have to keep buying it to keep up with the Joneses? But the scriptures say that, do we not think that the Spirit said in vain, or the Spirit lusteth to envy?
Yeah.
It doesn't say in vain that the Spirit lusteth to envy. Our envy of other people, looking at what they have, what I don't have, what she has and what I don't have, what he has I don't have, that creates this spoiled mentality where I don't look at what I do have in a good light. I don't appreciate what the Most High has given me. I'm not thankful for the fact that, hey, at least I got some clothes. I may not have the latest fashion. I may not have the Abercrombie and Fitch or whatever. I don't even know what they're wearing right now. But
No, they weren't wide shirts with crop top stomachs, Zach, for men. That's what they're wearing.
you know, I noticed
really
too.
feminine.
I saw them Jinko jeans coming back.
Jinkos? No, the baggy joints.
The baggy joints. People rocking the baggy jeans
Horrible,
again,
bro.
I'm not trying to bring that back.
Listen, I saw men in the men's department. They have wide shirts that have their tummy showing out for men. Bro, like this is whack. This is what's hot in the streets, Zach.
Yep.
The shirts are so exact. You raise your arm and you see your stomach. Like this is whack, bro. This is what's going on. People wearing this, Zach?
That was Kanye's clothes 4 years ago. Them raggedy gray clothes. Them bum style clothes.
Them bum styles. Huh?
Yeah. It just hit the market. They had to do something with all them clothes. But our people complain too much. That's why I realize why the Most High has to keep our scenario very lean.
Dire.
But the money's always lean.
Yep.
The living conditions are lean. The freedom is lean. You don't got the flexibility to go where you want to go. Everything's always tight. We live by a crunch. Everything got to be squeezed out, man. We got to make some time. I don't know if I got time. I don't know if I got enough money for all that. We have to live budgeting and live very lean because we don't appreciate nothing. When the Most High does give us plenty, like the scripture says in Deuteronomy chapter 11, he says we wax fat and we kicked. Oh, and then he said we forget that the Lord, the Most High, gave us this goodness. Read that real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11. I'm sorry. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 11. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 11. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy power in not keeping his commandments.
Go ahead.
And his judgments.
Go ahead.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Well, when do we do this? Read on.
Lest when thou hast eaten.
When do we forget the Most High?
Lest when thou hast eaten.
It's always after we get full. It's always after we get what we want. Mm-hmm. Every time we get what we want, immediately after we get what we want, what do? You forget the Most High. The Most High is always least important as soon as he gives us what we want. Read.
And art full, and has built goodly houses.
And you got the house you wanted. You got the house that you worked for. You closed the deal. You got a great interest rate. And now the Most High is not that important. Read on.
And dwelt therein. And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply.
Your vehicles, you got the vehicle that you want. You got the brand new off the lot. You got it. And now you know what? The Most High is not that important no more. Anytime the Most High gives us what we want, he becomes second fiddle. He becomes last on the list of priorities. He's never the priority when we get what we want. Read.
And thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied.
So the Most High the Most High has a way to fix this. The way to fix this forgetfulness and the lack of prioritizing the Most High is to keep your gold thin, to keep your silver thin, to keep your living conditions tight. Check to check, payday to payday. That's how the Most High fix our consciousness of Him. That's how we got to stay conscious of Him. He knows how to fix it. Well, you know what He does? He just won't give it to you. Because if He give it to you, you forget Him anyway. So the Most High He knows how to fix the situation to keep us mindful of Him. Finish that?
Then thy heart be lifted up.
And then thy heart is what?
Lifted up.
Go ahead.
And thou forget that the Lord thy power, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
And that's how the Most High got to deal with us. That's why we're reading about just being able to go to the temple to serve God. That is a bonus. That's a pleasure. We're able to just look at the fact that we have a temple to go to. We're thankful for the fact that we can actually go kill these animals and ask God for forgiveness.
Because at least you have an opportunity to put works in to prove that you've earned more attention and more blessings.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you a chance to keep building up works to possibly gain more sovereignty down the line.
And that works is more sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And that sacrifice, given the most, when you come to the temple, you also bring your offerings and your tithes to the temple. Your offerings and your tithes are a chance to show the Most High that He's important. So it's to do the Most High service. And that's not, I'm not bringing that up for to try to increase no tithes, try to commit some more tithes.
No.
But the tithes and the offerings are a chance to do the Lord's work. And showing the Most High, I appreciate what I do for you. And I'm thankful for you giving me what I can give you back in return. So that offering is important because we can petition the Most High for more favor on the back end. And that's the benefit of having a temple to go to. Is that we can show the Most High we love you. That's a place that we can actually go to do that. But sometimes we forget. So the Most High got to make serving the Lord a struggle where there is no church, there is no sanctuary, there is no temple, there is no place to worship the Father. We understand that here in San Antonio as well, because we know what it's like to almost not have one.
Yep.
There was a time when we were just on Zoom.
Yep.
I don't know if people remember. I don't know how long people have been watching. For those that are here in San Antonio, know that it just used to be Zoom channels.
Yep.
And if you got Zoom, if you didn't have Zoom, it was harder.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, that's all you was gonna get. You wasn't getting nothing else. Wasn't no.
And before that, it was no Zoom.
Yeah, it was no
It
Zoom.
was morning class and some sprinkled night classes, and if you weren't there that day, you missed it.
You missed it.
That's what it was.
The Most High knows how to make us appreciate.
And even now, we're at a certain size square foot place now. The next one's going to be bigger than this, but not by a whole lot. Maybe double the size. And then, you know what, if we earn it and we put the work in and we show ourselves faithful, we'll get a bigger one.
Yep.
That's how the Most High deals with this. But He starts you with small, humble beginnings, and you have to earn the greater blessings. Israel did this. This goes into Israel's lack of work ethic. Israel don't want to put the real work in to see any results down the line. We want to try a little bit and get major blessings from the Most High. That's not how things work. That's like going to the gym. Why do people stop going to the gym? They work out for a month. You're supposed to look like Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. After sitting back here going to the gym for a month. You're barely throwing the bar but want to see some changes.
Yeah.
It's just too much work. I ain't seeing no results. You ain't doing enough work to see the results.
But the people on magazines, that's their lifestyle.
Kinda.
They made that a lifestyle. And that's why they get results.
Kinda. It's every day. Rain, sleet, snow, it don't matter. That's what it takes. But people don't want to put that level of dedication and get the results that come from that. We're just very low level in our effort and our desire, our work ethic. Like we always joke. People have like caviar desires, but got hamburger and fried work ethic out.
Yeah.
And wonder why this stuff don't work out.
Yeah.
But anyway, you good on that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue in
Chapter 7.
Paragraph 7.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 12, Chapter 9, Paragraph 7, line 382. Accordingly, the king sent to Judas and in those that were with him, and promised to give them peace, and to permit them to make use of the and live according to the law of fathers. And they gladly received his proposals. And when they had gained security upon oath of their performance.
So what they said is once they got guarantees that the Greeks wouldn't harm them anymore, and that the deal was going to be solidified, they relaxed it and opened the gates. Read on.
They went out of the temple.
Mm-hmm.
But when Antiochus came into
This is Antiochus Jupiter. Once he went into the temple. Read on.
and saw how strong the place was, he broke his oath and ordered his army that was there to pluck down the walls to the ground.
Now, it wasn't the entire Jerusalem walls. It was a portion of the Jerusalem walls so that the military, the Greek military, could come in and enter at their beckoning time, whenever they want to do it. Read on.
And when he had so done, he returned
To Antioch.
Or
Antiochia, which is in Turkey. Read on.
He also carried with him Ananias, the high priest, who was also called Menelaus.
Now that ties into 2 Maccabees 13. When they came down, Menelaus was with him, and he took Menelaus with him from Jerusalem. He took Menelaus back his direction towards Antioch. But before you get to Antioch, you get to Syria. Berea, Syria, where the 75-foot wall was sitting here waiting for him to get judged, sentenced, and murdered for his treason. Read on.
For Lysias advised the king to slay Menelaus if he would have the Jews be quiet.
He says, if you want to stop this war, kill this one guy and everything will be cool.
It'll be fine.
You know the problem is,
He's the trouble.
these Edomites they knew what the issue was. They were very keen on what happens in these foreign countries. This is the same thing in Africa. In Africa, in South America, they know the pulse of the city. They know the pulse of these countries. And that's why they said these guys are ripe for the fall in Nepal. I don't know if you saw pictures of what they were doing in Nepal. They were sitting back here. The head leadership, they got out of Nepal. But like the old prior prime ministers and parliamentary members, they were going to their houses out. It was messed up. There were like 30, 40 people in these guys' homes out. Beating the wives of diplomats. Doing worse than beating the wives of diplomats. Beating the men with sticks. These are older people that had once had positions in the government. And they're filming it with their phones. They're beating them up. They're vandalizing the homes, stealing from them, beating the women up, beating the wives of the family, violating them. There were certain pictures where they were sitting back here throwing these older diplomats in the ocean and drowning them. And sit back here and shaming them. They're in their drawers out and they're sitting back here just embarrassing them and defiling them. And they call this revolution. But the powers that be that finances knew exactly what to do, who to attack, who to sit back here and embarrass and focus on. Everybody that said no to America, this is what happens to you. This is the lesson that they're showing on camera. If you say no to us, you're next.
Destabilize your country.
This is what they do. We're going to destroy you and your family. This is what they're doing with they're trying to do with Maduro. That's why Maduro, he already sent his family out of Venezuela. He gonna hold it down and ride it out to the end, but his family got out of there. Why? Because they want to sit back here and violate his family too.
Just like they violated Gaddafi.
Listen, if you didn't see it, I didn't see. I can't watch this. Maybe I need to get used to it because that's what's happening down the line. They sat back here and violated him, then they shot him. Yeah. I mean, this guy did nothing but great things for his country, and that was the reward he got from people that's got financed and destroyed. It's messed up. But they're doing the same thing in Congo. They're financing Rwandan terrorist organizations or the heads of Rwanda. They're sitting back here and they're financing them to go into Congo and keep breaking the people in Congo. Rwandans are taking out the Congo people. And you would think Congo was so huge. Rwanda is small. They're using Rwanda, quote-unquote, freedom fighters to go into Congo and take advantage of the people and the people in their tribes and their small little areas, taking over the industrial sides, forcing them into slavery. What they don't tell you is that all that slavery that they're putting people through, they're getting the minerals for these cell phones and the computer chips. So these people are getting put in literal slavery by hired goons in another country. So that you got an iPhone 16 or an iPhone 17
with the three cameras on it.
With the 3 cameras on it. That's the consequence of your comfort.
Blood diamonds, blood phones.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, literally. Nobody gives a damn. People just keep doing what they're doing.
That phone call cost 25 arms.
Brother, yes.
And then, just like the Leopold, man. Rubber with the Leopold.
I know. It's costing people. Listen, the things that they were putting these people through, in the terrorizing of these cities and these towns, I won't even talk about it online. It's that bad. It's that bad. And it's the same people. I ain't gonna go to that. Point is this: how they paint this stuff online. Even about Hotel Rwanda and all that stuff about the Rwandan people. They don't tell you that the people that did all the killing were backed by the United States. It wasn't the other way around.
The genocide in Rwanda.
The genocide in Rwanda was not with
Back in
the
the day?
people that you thought it was.
That's crazy.
What happened was the people that were in power before that Hotel Rwanda scenario, that genocide happened, they were the ones that ousted the U.S.-backed government. They ousted them. So the ones that were sitting back here and oppressing the people were ousted, and they won their independence back. And the United States guys got their resources and their money and their military stuff up, and they came back and they took over the country.
That's crazy.
So the people who were getting killed were really backed by the United States.
So
It wasn't the other way around. They want to make it like these guys were doing all this bad to the people that were the good sovereign folks. No, the sovereign folks were getting murdered.
They always.
And it was a U.S.-backed coup to get access to the region to sit back and go down eventually back to Congo and take out the things you did in Congo. They took the natural resources in Rwanda, Uganda, then they went to Congo. They don't tell you that at all. All U.S.-backed. So let's go back. Continue in Josephus.
Line 384. For Lysias advised the king to slay Menelaus, if he would have the Jews be quiet, and cause him no further disturbance. For that this man was the origin of all the mischief the Jews had done them, by persuading his father to compel the Jews to leave the religion of their fathers.
So once again, the Most High looks at the state of the nation, and he sees the state of the nation is in complete turmoil. The nation isn't united. There's multiple factions of Israelites pushing different focuses, different intentions. Everybody isn't locked into pleasing the Most High. And as a result, what the Most High is doing is saying, okay, you know what? I see the handful of Israelites that are trying to make the right changes. I'm going to reward them with at least the ability to survive and serve me. But as a nation, what it's letting you know is these big blessings that we look for comes from an entire nation unified.
Yeah.
Sovereignty and the blessings, the big blessing we want, it requires a nation to be locked in. And when the nation is not locked in, when the nation is still sinning, the best we can hope for is what? Peace and freedom to serve Him. Until the Most High does everything else. But we don't like those deals. You want to come up. You're not coming up if the nation ain't coming up. That's the catch. And if you are going to come up, you got to compromise right from wrong and be part of this system.
That was Menelaus.
That's the point.
Menelaus, the scripture say one sinner destroyed much good.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows you how much damage then did Menelaus do for the nation of Israel.
Massive. Because it gave the Jew the excuse to sin. And the excuse to go left. And the confidence to go left. So he's still saying that sin that he did and Jason did.
Yep.
Jason and Menelaus' sin had a long-standing consequence even after their death. Now, Jason was in exile in Greece, in the Lacedaemonians' lands, which is us. Onias from Menelaus gets killed. But however it plays out, we're still suffering because that negative seed was put into Israel that you don't have to do it this way.
There's alternatives.
And that consequence leaves us with an open Jerusalem wall, exposed to everyone. Okay? But let's continue.
Line 385. So the king sent Menelaus to Berea, a city of Syria, and there had him put to death. when he had been high priest 10 years.
Listen, so the crazy thing also is Menelaus was an evil man in power for 10 years. But he was working behind the scenes for longer than that. Remember when we read about when Onias, the first Onias, was a good high priest, and that governor that was in the region was complaining about all the wickedness going on in Jerusalem. And how, remember that auditor was sent by Seleucid to check out the money in the temple, and he got beat up. That was under orders of Menelaus. Menelaus was the one pulling the strings when Onias the first was in power. So he might have been the top dog for 10 years, but he was in the midst for like 15.
That was Heliodorus.
But during that time, the person that snitched on the money we had in the temple was a man that was under Menelaus. So that was like 15 years of Menelaus in the midst, creating havoc in the nation. But also, let's know about the wicked. The Most High don't take the wicked out quick. Now, you read in Psalms, the Most High says the Most High removes them out. But 15 years isn't a short time, is it?
No.
Which means what? Why is that a significant thing to understand? The wicked being in power for 15 years really makes you choose, do you love righteousness?
Because the wicked guy's not getting stung for his wickedness.
Not that quick. He's getting stung. He will
But
get
it's
stung.
not as apparent.
Because it's 15 years of waiting. It's 15 years of doing the right thing and not seeing the benefit of it. This is very similar to Saul. He was in power for 20 years. Think about this. How long did David get full control of the kingdom? 20. So the wicked guy lasted as long as the good guy.
Yeah.
How about them apples? No, I'm sorry. Let me take it back. No. David was 40 years. David ran it was 7 years in Hebron and 33 years as the head guy. I'm wrong with that.
But even still, the Most High, go to Isaiah chapter 65, verse 20. The Most High can still preserve the life of the wicked. Read that.
I think Saul was about 40 years.
Yeah, Saul or,
Yeah.
or Solomon.
Saul.
Isaiah chapter 65.
It's 40 years. It was the same. Yeah, he had 40 years like David had 40 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
Read that.
Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 20. There shall be no more thence an infant of days,
Go ahead.
nor an old man that hath not filled his days.
Go ahead.
For the child shall die 100 years old.
Read on.
But the sinner being 100 years old.
He said a sinner could be how old?
100 years old.
So does the Most High, just because a person is a sinner, does that mean he got to take him out quick? The Most High can let a sinner live how long?
100 years old.
But even though a sinner, the Most High will give the sinner that amount of time. Read on.
Shall be accursed.
He's still going to be what?
Accursed.
But that doesn't mean he's accursed right away. No. A sinner he might pull a century out. But that doesn't mean he's going to be good. He's still going to be accursed in the end. But so then if we're under a wicked ruler, it could last 100 years. Could last 50 years.
He won't say he is an old man that doteth.
Yep.
The doteth focuses and harps on his wickedness. And it keeps his memories about his wickedness and harps on that. So we let you know that wicked person can get old and still harp on the negative he did.
Yep.
And you don't remove him. But that is all about our faith. That wicked person is there to tempt you and test you. Do you believe or not? He's off. He's not 100%. But are you living right? And is your servitude to the Most High predicated on the person over you being on point? And a lot of times, our service to the Most High is conditional based on if the person over me is living right, then I'll live right. Then is that really faith? Do you really believe? No. That's the point. And that's why the wicked person stays there. Because you're only there, you're only going to do good if the person over you is doing good. If he ain't doing good, you ain't going to do good. That means you don't have faith anyway. That means you follow man. That's what following man means. Anyway, you going to say something now?
No. I was just reading the comment.
God. Just to answer your question, I can't say they were Israelites. Those Tutsis, I can't say they were Israelites. What I can say for a fact is that the ones that came in, they were United States backed tribes people. That, because don't forget, I think it's the Tutsis and the Hutsis. Both of those guys, they had been warring tribes for many generations. The British had initially backed these guys, and there was revolutions, and the ones who ended up getting slaughtered, they kicked the ruling regime out because they were getting terrorized. They came back with the backing of British and the United States again, and they reclaimed their area and their land by wiping out the people, the other tribe that was there. But it was U.S. backed. That's what I can say. I can't say they were Israelites. I can't prove that. Okay. So let's continue.
In Isaiah? Or
No.
back to
Let Isaiah go.
Okay. Started line.
He had been a
85.
wicked man. I think he had been a wicked and an impious man. Did we read that yet?
Line 3 and 5. If I can start there.
Did this go? That's fine.
So the king sent Menelaus to Berea, a city of Syria, and there had him put to death when he had been high priest 10 years.
So that wasn't. We went over here to say that the wicked stay in power for a long time sometimes to determine where your faith is. Read on.
He had been a wicked and impious man, and in order to get the government to himself, had compelled his nation to transgress their own laws.
Problem is, they chose it though. Well, what did that wicked man? What did that wicked man do? That wicked man Menelaus exposed the fact that the majority of us were what? Wicked. Menelaus compelled a lot of other Israelites to sin. So the question was this: if that Menelaus wasn't there, would they have been on point?
They wouldn't pull their card.
But it was still inside of them. So this is what the Most High does to reveal what a person's at. You put a negative person there to show you. Are you going to do negative because you got out to do negative? Or are you going to do right and have integrity? So the wicked person is actually necessary at times. Is that the Most High purges out and sees who's for real.
And that's what a lot of these PSYOP trials was for the government was doing back in the 70s and 60s. You know, they were trying to figure out how much of an animal exists in every single human being.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a part of a mind control operation. If we can set the right terms and the right conditions, can the regular moral person become an animal? If the terms are right, if the conditions are right, can a moral person sell out? And can we use that sellout ability for mind control and governmental purposes? And that's what, because that's the Most High wants to know, but the devil want to know too. That's why the devil told Satan told the Most High, curse him, and he said let me touch him, and he'll curse you to your face. Let me change the conditions. That's why that's why Satan told the Most High, does he love you for not? He said, touch everything he has, and he'll curse you to your face. That's what the Most High wants to know. That's what Satan wants to know. What will you do, no matter how bad the situation is, to hold on to your integrity? Because if you can hold on to your integrity, no matter how bad the situation is or who's in charge, the Most High knows you're really faithful. It's still a test.
Anyway, just to answer your question, it's impossible to find physical financial records saying that these regimes are financed by literally a paper trail with the United States and Britain. But there's a lot of information out there in documentaries and books that talk about how the leadership that got ousted was backed by the British government and eventually the United States government. And if you can sit back and understand that these nations are backed by certain governments, then you'll find out where the money comes from. Then you know the money and the resource and the weapons that are used to sit back and make these moves. It didn't come out the sky. It's no different than when Bashar al-Assad got taken out of power in Syria. And there were pictures and images. Because, you know, X is out now. X wasn't out during the time of the Rwanda crisis. But you can see pallets full of money, U.S. dollars, in the new palaces that the previous prince and king of Syria had. Now this new guy that was a former ISIS agent, he's got pallet full of money in his palace, U.S. dollars. Then the United States, there won't be record that the U.S. sent this money to this terrorist guy that's running Syria. But you can put two and two together. Who gave him all these pallets full of money? That's now in your temple. Well, that's not in your residence. It's the same people that are financing all of these underground revolutionary movements all around the world.
That money's been washed through different slime organizations.
Yes. Or through drug trade scenarios. You know, Cop sent me something yesterday where bananas coming from Ecuador got seized in Russia. And that in these bananas in Ecuador, it's like pallets full of bananas. But in the back of this banana boat, so to speak, there was hundreds and hundreds of grams and kilos of cocaine out. And they're pushing weight through these fruit distribution centers in Ecuador. But the funny thing is, Ecuador is in bed with Colombia. So Colombia is sending the drugs to Ecuador, and Ecuador is putting the drugs with the fruit and sending it all around Europe. And that's the game. And the president of Ecuador has good political relationships with Marco Rubio, United States. So you can put two and two together. The profits that come from these shipments go towards funneling shadow operations all around the United States.
Slush funds is what I was thinking about.
But it's slush funds. But this is how you make your dark money, just to maintain your coups and your shadow operations all around the world. This is what was done. This is what was being done when the United States was running drugs through Mena, Arkansas in the 80s and in the 70s. The money that the drugs were getting shipped out from Arkansas, they were getting distributed into the United States. Well, they were getting distributed from the foreign countries to Mena. Then the drug trade was running from Mena all around the United States. This is when the drug epidemic got at its all-time highest. The proceeds that came from the drug racket went to funding the WHO.
Iran Contra.
The Sandistas in Nicaragua. Not the Sandistas, but it's the oppositional government that fought the Sandistas in Nicaragua. And that fighting, they were fighting the Sandistas in Nicaragua using the drug money that was paying for weapons that was also being sent to Iran. And that thing, I think, blew up in everybody's face, and it came out. That's when Oliver North got popped.
Yeah, he was the fall guy.
He was the fall guy, but that was a heavy CIA op. So the drug use is how you finance black op, off the books CIA moves. So it's happening now. You got Ecuador as the middleman shipping, because if it's going to Colombia, if it comes straight from Colombia, it'll get closer scrutiny. So you got to send the drugs to Ecuador. Ecuador sends it with their bananas to Europe, and then it gets distributed all around Europe. And that's how the drug trade keeps flowing. And like it says, the president of Ecuador is good friends with Secretary of State of the United States. You telling me they don't know? But why are they fighting Venezuela? Because of the drug trade. So let's destroy these banana boats in Venezuela. But the real weight's getting moved in Ecuador. So what's really being done? I'm going to sit back here and bomb Venezuela for the oil. Well, we're going to say it's drugs. But the real weight's going up north, moving from the north. And nobody knows about it. It's going right through the damn Panama Canal, right to Europe. Gotcha. But let's destroy these little banana. How come they're not destroying those boats? That's the boat that should get seized. They had all these kilos on it. So just to answer your question, brother, they've worked on controlling the paper trail, and they've even worked on eliminating the CIA from having their direct hands on the operation. And they learned from the 80s to not have a paper trail like they used to. But it ain't like it ain't still happening. And that's the point.
Cryptocurrency is great for that.
Yes.
Because you don't have to have a paper trail.
It's cryptocurrency and offshore bank accounts. That's where all the dirty work happens. Offshore bank accounts in Monaco, Switzerland. All those accounts where all the dope money flows through. And that dope money gets taken out and washed and gets shot out to these different countries to finance these terrorist organizations that overthrow governments.
Yep.
At their beckoning call. That's the game. Okay. Because what you have to do, and if a person really wants to do it, you have to follow the money and follow the support and follow what organizations back these regimes. It's easier to find. A lot of times, the cleaner way to trace it is through non-governmental organizations, but there's a shadowy aspect even lower than that. It's even harder to trace.
One of the greatest artists was a neo-conceptualist artist named Mark Lombardi, and he was a librarian by his education, but he became a political artist, and he used to make these bubble charts that shows that if you follow the money, you'll follow the corruption and the position to every politician in government.
Yeah.
And so he made these bubble charts that would connect the dots, and it would all the dots would eventually in the bubbles would connect to some type of form of corruption.
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting assassinated in his apartment, and all of his art was confiscated and is still being held by the FBI right now.
Just like Gary Webb, when he started sitting back here and dropping bombs on how the drug trade, the drug epidemic in the United States and in Cali and all the crack cocaine epidemic was fueled by the CIA.
Yeah.
That's what Snowfall is about. Partially. But it was all government backed to destroy the country from within, to finance these operations to attack Russia and to attack quote unquote communist philosophy in these other countries. Because Nicaragua was being backed also by Russia. That's another thing. That's why the Sandinista government was able to sit back and hold their own for so long. They couldn't do it on their own. I was like, how in the hell are these Sandinistas able to hold off from all this barrage of war from the other side? They got back too. And that's what the Cold War was about. It's not a hot war. It's not U.S. versus Russia. It's Russian and U.S. proxies going to war with each other for supremacy and leverage in the world. And that's why when Russia fell in 91, everything toppled over and the United States was able to run roughshod all throughout the world again. Then you can take out Iraq. Then you can sit back here and take out Afghanistan and all these little countries that were backed by Russia in the first place. Anyway, let's continue. Let's finish this thing up. At least this chapter for today, because it's getting late. Read on.
He had been a wicked and impious man, compelled his nation to transgress their own laws. After the death of Menelaus, Alcimus, who was also called Jacimus, was made high priest.
He was made high priest by the Greeks. We didn't sit back here and bring him in. We didn't choose him. He was another proxy that was an Israelite, but was chosen by Esau to take the high priesthood, which everybody knew was the head leadership position of the nation. Read on.
But when King Antiochus found that Philip had already possessed himself of the government, he made war against him and subdued him and took him and slew him.
So before they left, they killed Menelaus and put another puppet in there. Then they went to fight Philip in Antioch and they beat him. Read on.
Now as to Onias, the son of the high priest, who, as we before informed you...
Stop. So he says, now as to Onias, the son of the original high priest Onias, the first, in previous chapters, had a son. Remember it was 3 Oniases? It was Onias, then it was Onias the second named Jason, and it was Onias the third named Menelaus. They were all named Onias. But all 3 of them had different names. One kept the name Onias, the other one was Jason, the other one was Menelaus. The first Onias, that was the good high priest that we talked about in 2 Maccabees 3, he had a son named Onias. But he was a young man, so he wasn't of age enough to take the position of the high priesthood. So now this Onias, the son of the good Onias the first, he was supposed to be the next guy up to be high priest. But the Greeks didn't choose that Onias. They chose Alcimus, who was a Greek puppet. But Onias, the son of the good Onias, was supposed to be the guy that took the job. Trying to kind of put it in context. Read on.
Now as to Onias, the son of the high priest, who, as we before informed you, was left a child when his father died.
When Menelaus killed him. Read on.
When he saw that the king had slain his uncle Menelaus, and give the high priesthood to Alcimus, who was not of the high priest stock.
So once again, Onias saw that so this guy Alcimus wasn't even of the right lineage to be the head guy. But they put him in there as a political guy and didn't give Onias the chance to take the position and do right by it. Read on.
But was induced by Lysias to translate that dignity from his family to another house. He fled to Ptolemy, the king of Egypt.
So he said, okay, I got to leave and go to Egypt. Or go to Egypt because why? You know Alcimus was going to look at Onias as a what? Threat. So he's going to try to eliminate him if he stayed. So Onias, the young Onias, leaves and goes to Egypt and works to take the high priest position in Egypt because there was a large Israelite population in Egypt. Read on.
And when he found he was in great esteem with him.
So what happened is, when Onias goes to Egypt, he ends up winning the respect of the leadership in Egypt, of the husband and wife. I'm not sure their names at that time. The leadership of Egypt, he won their favor. Read on.
And with his wife Cleopatra, he desired and...
This is not the Cleopatra that dealt with Mark Antony and Caesar. This is another Cleopatra. Cleopatra was a queen name. So it was multiple Cleopatras, just so we know. Read on.
He desired and obtained a place in the Nomus of Heliopolis, wherein he built a temple like to that at Jerusalem, of which, therefore, we shall hereafter give an account in a place more proper for it.
What we're going to do when we get to talk about Onias and the temple that was made in Heliopolis, we will go into that and focus on that because that is the topic of Isaiah chapter 19. Isaiah chapter 19 gives a prophecy of the temple being built in Egypt. And it's literally a template explaining how the Most High blessed Onias with the structure that was very similar to the temple that was in Jerusalem. But that's prophetic. And it's starts after the 7-8 verses of Isaiah chapter 19. When we get to it in the Josephus, then we'll take the time and read it. It's coming up close. It's like book 13, chapter 3, paragraph 1. When we get to that, then we'll go into Isaiah 19 and kind of mirror it so we can see the prophecy connect with what happened historically. But we're not going to do it now because we're not there yet. What you going to say?
You know, it's when Christ was 2 years old and he had to flee Herod. You know, it shows you that when they fled to Egypt, it wasn't like they were going into a foreign country that didn't have Jewish understanding.
Not at all.
And Hebrew understanding, Hebrew culture. There was plenty of Hebrew culture in Egypt.
And more times than not, we were second-class citizens. The Egyptians were third-class. Most for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Egyptians weren't even second-class in their own country.
Yep.
In their own country in general.
Huh?
It was Greeks, Jews, and then Egyptians for hundreds of years. So we had a definite stronghold there.
Oh.
Let's continue. Oh, what we done with that?
God, chapter 10.
We're going to let chapter 10, we're going to hold on that because that's going to go into chapter 7 of First Maccabees. And it doesn't make sense to start this at 2:30. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before we cancel class, are there any questions online that y'all might have? An Aggie student, if you need, I will sit back here and try to look for a link that gives more detail about that Rwanda scenario. I will look for a link to give it to you or give it to the online community. But it's very difficult to sit back and trace money. That's damn near impossibility. But we can find historical historical scenarios that talk about it. I can do that. But to follow the money, it's very difficult, especially when you're doing dark operations like that. Any other questions? Y'all got any questions? I'm going to kind of wait a second. There might be a little delay.
Yeah, a little delay. Yeah.
I don't know how long to wait. We're gonna shut it down. And in the midst of our prayers, if there is a question that pops up, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Okay. Majim?
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushai.
In the name of Yahushai.
Please listen to us right now.
Please listen to us right now.
Send Michael
Send Michael
and the righteous angels
and the righteous angels
to watch over, bless,
Heal,
protect, and make strong. The people of Yahshua.
The people of Yahshua.
Also send unto us. Much wisdom. Much knowledge. Much understanding. Much patience. Much faith. Much brotherhood. And much love. Spiritual power. And forgive all of our sins. Yahweh shall come quickly. For in need is our hope. Always. And forever. Amen. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh Nathan Nawa.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Nathan Nawa.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Nathan Nawa.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Nathan Nawa. Shimon. Zayat. Lamashak. Yahshua.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
And thy faithfulness every night.
And thy faithfulness every night.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
And upon the psaltery.
And upon the psaltery.
Upon the harp.
Upon the harp.
With the solemn sound.
With the solemn sound.
For thou Yahweh.
For thou Yahweh.
Has made me glad through thy work.
Has made me glad through thy work.
I will triumph. In the work of thy hands.
In the works of thy hands.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
How great are thy works.
How great are thy works.
And thy thoughts are very deep.
And thy thoughts are very deep.
A brutish man knoweth not.
A brutish man knoweth not.
Neither doth the fool understand this.
Neither doth the fool understand this.
When the wicked spring is the grass.
When the wicked spring is the grass.
And when all the workers of iniquity do flourish.
And when all the workers of iniquity do flourish.
It is that they shall be destroyed forever.
It is that they shall be destroyed forever.
But thou Yahweh.
But thou Yahweh.
Art most high forevermore.
Art most high forevermore.
For lo. Thy enemies. O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo thy enemies.
For lo thy enemies.
Shall perish. All the workers of iniquity.
All the workers of iniquity.
Shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt.
But my horn shalt thou exalt.
Like the horn of a unicorn.
Like the horn of a unicorn.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
Mine eye also shall see.
Mine eye also shall see.
My desire. On my enemies.
On mine enemies.
And my ears shall hear.
And my ears shall hear.
My desire. Of the wicked. That rise up against me.
That rise up against me.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
Those that be planted in the house of the Lord.
Those that be planted in the house of the Lord.
Shall flourish in the courts of our power.
Shall flourish in the courts of our power.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
To show that the Lord is upright.
To show that the Lord is upright.
He is my rock.
He is my rock.
There is no unrighteousness in him.
And there is no righteousness in him.
By Hashem Yahushai.
By Hashem Yahushai.
Psalms 133. Shayar.
Shayar.
Hamayawa.
Hamayawa.
Ladawad.
Ladawad.
Hana.
Hana.
Ma. Tawab.
Tawab.
Wama. Na'ayam.
Na'ayam.
Shabbat. Akim. Gum. Yachad. Hashemad. Hatawad. Ayo. Hara'ash. Yerad. Ayo. Hazakwan. Zakwan. Aharad. Shayrad. Ayo. Haya. Badawafiwa. Katal. Karamwan. Shayrad. Ayo. Haroria. Tazayawan. Kaya. Sham. Tazawa. Yahweh. Habaraka. Kayayim. Habulam. Ba'ashem Yahusha.
Psalms 133 in English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head, that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirt of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life evermore. Amen.
Amen. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. Rakanawa. Rashwali. Rabiat. Support. Turn. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. Rakanawa. Rashwali. Rabiat. Support. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. Rakanawa. Rashwali. Rabiat. Support. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. Rakanawa. Rashwali. Rabiat. Support. Rakathay Ho. Rakathay Ho shot. 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 Our knowledge, our wisdom, our understanding, our mercy, our patience, our love, our power from your house. Our power from your house. Our power from your house. Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman. Look.
Saluting out in the heavenly order, Yahweh, Warrior Shai, Walker Yasa'ala, men of Israel, much rock.
Yahweh,
Matat, turn and face sister. Then Matat. Saluting out the daughters of Zion, men of Israel, much rock.
Yes, Matap. Dismissed. Fall out. Israel, the water for tuning in. See y'all on Monday, all right? Shalom.
All right.